What is up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another installment of Ask PJ Braun here at the Blackstone Labs headquarters. We have multiple special guests here for you today, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening just on iTunes or SoundCloud, is it?
Yes.
And you can't see us yet, you'll have to wait. We have some special guests. One of them being a man who just got done with an extremely long journey to help us pull off one of the craziest feats we've ever attempted here at Blackstone Labs. And the other is one of our longtime athletes that you have all seen many times and know very well. And we'll have PJ Braun here introduce everybody.
Alrighty, so by the way, we apologize for to one person, really, Moon Cookie, for not being on the Blackstone Labs website for the past two podcasts. They are on iTunes and SoundCloud, where everyone else in the world listens to them, but he has picked it up both times, so thank you for that. Eric has figured out the issue, and it won't happen again. We don't think it will.
No, and we promise.
Is there a question?
It's definitely going to happen again.
A question from Moon Cookie this week?
Doesn't look like it. Nope.
Wow.
None.
Very few questions. Only 4 questions
Moon
this week,
Cookie.
which is good because last time we spoke for 2 hours. So we don't want to be. Nobody in this room wants to be here for 2 hours. So that's a good thing that there's less questions.
I happen to enjoy the podcast.
I do too, but it is a long time. It's hot in here. So
It is too hot in this room.
we have sitting next to me right now. So we have Steph over next to you, which the camera. So the positioning of the camera is always facing in this direction, right? So the best thing to do is when somebody is speaking, have them sit here. So because the first portion of the podcast is going to feature mostly Austin from Vette Kingdom, we're going to have him here for now, and then we're going to flap Steph over, and then honestly, you can leave if you want to, because I know you want to eat.
Just GTFO, if you please.
Today, I would leave if I were you. I mean, I'd be like, can I go now, guys? I don't really care about the workout stuff.
And hopefully this dual guest platform will give me a little bit more oomph that we need to get my own
To get your own camera
headshot camera over here, because this is just ridiculous. We had it for one episode, and I got to say, my headshots just make the whole podcast visually so much better. Just so much better. And at that one episode, we had it, and then after that, it's just... You know, it seems like it's missing something.
We may have to change the name of the podcast if we get another camera.
To just Colonel Fiola and...
Just like ask the guys.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, so what we were going to do is 2 separate podcasts. Now we're doing one big one. So let's explain, because everyone already knows who Steph is, but Austin, I'll give you the little like Cliff Notes background, and then we'll let him take over and share this journey. But I want to hear, like, I'm going to give my end of it, and then we're going to hear his end of it and see where there's any, like, differences and, his perspective versus mine. But so 12 Days of Christmas was a sale that we did a few years back that did really well, and then we abandoned it for a couple years. And I don't know why we abandoned it. There was no, like, true reasoning why, but December is just a shitty month for really everybody in the world as far as sales go. Like, no companies really kill it in December because Black Friday is the monster sales day that everybody kind of blows their load on.
To be honest, it's probably just because, like, we always do the Black Friday thing, and then, like, shipping is usually backed up, and we just get real scroogey in December. That's probably why we quit it.
Yeah, that's a little bit of it. But, I mean, we've had so many issues with Black Friday, too, where, we've had, like, I'm sorry, literally, as a sale one year. Like, we actually did it 2 years because we screwed it up again the next year. So I was like, and my dad was mad. I'm already segueing into other stories. This is a really good story. So I'm not supposed to do this, but so.
This is how we do.
This is why it takes long every time. So a couple years ago, how many years ago was that? 3 years ago, Eric? The original I'm Sorry? You guys were upstairs still when we did that one. 3 years ago. Yeah, so this is in the old Blackstone Labs. We did a Black Friday sale, and it was such a good sale that our shipping got really backed up. But one of the, like, I think it was because of Rob and Daniel and Bailey, because we were running Run Everything Labs out of there too. Their sale, like, crashed our server, and, like, none of the orders were able to go out. So we were like a full week behind shipping everybody's shit out, and people were mad. They were like bashing us online, like Blackstone Labs takes your money and doesn't send stuff. So we felt so bad that I went out. I just, on the spur of a moment, I made a video saying we're so sorry that we're behind on your sales, that in honor of that and how sorry I am, we're going to give you guys 35% off whatever you want on the store right now. And it wound up being another huge sale when I did that. But we didn't tell my dad or anybody in shipping. And they were like, we're fucking sold out of all this stuff. Why are you selling so much more of it? And I was like, I don't know. I felt bad. I was trying to make everybody happy. So I wound up making it way worse when we did that.
Talk about fixing a problem with a bigger problem.
So
we don't have enough shit. Let's just sell more of it.
So when this all went down again, last year we fixed it, and now this year we tried to like forecast and do everything else to prevent it happening, but we have such monster Black Friday days, it's hard to predict it. So we were joking around saying that we might have to do another I'm sorry sale, but have it be like I'm sorry, like Roman numeral 2.
Yeah. As
the coupon code, which we were already laughing our asses off in advance, like that we kind of like
did it again,
saw this happening, and then it did actually happen. So
it's kind of like all the other forecasts that happen in Florida. Like they tell us a hurricane's coming. Everybody goes out and clears out Publix and Home Depot for everything, and then not even a drop of rain hits us. And then 2 months later, they're like, "No, this one that's out in the ocean is totally going to miss us," and we get nailed with a Cat 4. Yeah. Nobody has any water or anything ready. It happens every time.
I did a live yesterday, and I was showing all the stuff in the warehouse, and I was like, "Look how full our warehouse is on all the stuff that you guys didn't buy on Black Friday. If you guys would start buying this stuff, I'd be able to ship all your stuff out on time."
They're like, yeah, Jack, all the stuff that's not there, we need that.
Good news is recomp came in today.
Oh, shit.
And wholesale's already done, and then all the back-ordered stuff will be done today, I assume, as well. So by the time you guys listen to this, if you're one of the people that's been worried, your stuff should be out and on the road.
And I mean, realistically, you got to think that stuff every year being out of stock kind of has to be a good sign that you're with a good supplement company, because if every year your supplement company that you drink their protein or their pre-workout or whatever, they do a massive sale and they never run out of stock, that probably means not a lot of people are taking it. It probably means not a lot of people think it's very quality. It probably means not a lot of people are willing to wait for it if it was back ordered, because guess what? It doesn't get back ordered. So
there's never a shortage on MRE bars, I can tell you that. So last night in my thing, I told everybody that Blackstone Labs was releasing a better than MRE bar, and a couple people like took it seriously, and I was like, I'm kidding, and I'm already getting sued by him, so like, might as well add that into it. We're not releasing the better than our MRE bar.
But that does spark some ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe we should revisit that idea that I had with the pre-workout.
Which idea was
well, we're not going to talk about it on the podcast, but Dave knows what I'm talking about. It's very futuristic.
Oh, okay.
Similar to the caps that we had, but more advanced.
Okay. Well, we won't talk about that on here.
No, we need those.
So what we'll talk about is back to the 12 days of Christmas sale. So I wanted to bring this back. So strategically, I removed Cyber Monday. And I figured anybody that was looking forward to the Cyber Monday sale would be potential December customers. So to entice those people into purchasing in December, we are going to run a 12 days of Christmas sale that has a different sale each day for 12 days, with the final day being Christmas Eve. Now, we are not going to release what the sale days are. One of them, for instance, is going to be like 50% off apparel. Another one is going to be, buy a growth, get a gear support free. There are going to be things like that. I believe one of them is going to be 30% off all stacks. So we know that we're going to do solid sales those days. We wanted to really spice it up, especially for Christmas. So we joked around the idea of giving away a car. And we figured this would be a good opportunity to give away the car. We'd give it away for Christmas. So what we came up with was we're going to have raffle tickets. So each time you make an order on any of those sale days, you get a raffle ticket. So you can buy something every one of the sale days and have 12 raffle tickets. You can tell everybody in your family to buy stuff on those days, and be like these corporate offices that buy 1,000 lotto tickets to increase their chances. But you will get a raffle ticket for the car, and then on the last day, we are going to pick the raffle ticket out, and that random lucky person is going to get the free car from Blackstone Labs. Now, we decided that it should be a Corvette because the Corvette has become a very big part of our story this year, because of the fact that it was stolen from my driveway at the Olympia.
And don't worry, we're going to put Blackstone Labs on your calipers too. So that way there you have.
That's another piece of the story that we're going to get into in a minute, because the whole what's this thing going to look like in the end has become a big argument now. So we're going to let you voice your opinion on this, because Eric's given his, David's given his, my dad's given his. The people today on the Q&A gave theirs, very, very divided. So we found through my buddy here, Austin here, a 1979 Corvette. So here's the deal. I told David that my favorite, obviously I have a very cool modernized Z06 that I would not get rid of, but my favorite classic car is we talked about this, a 76 Stingray. It was a very, very cool look, very, very, classic, American muscle car. And we were like, how cool would it be if we gave that away? Like, everybody loves the Blackstone Labs Corvette. The fact that it got back, it's like a victory story, and we should give out, go retro with it. So I'm like, you know what? I have a friend, speaking of the Corvette, who I met through social media because he's posted my Corvette on his page, Vette Kingdom. Let me reach out to him. I reached out to him. He's like, I got something for you right now. He showed us the pictures of it, and we were like, holy shit, this thing's awesome. We want it. And now we're going to start telling the story together. So, Austin, I'm going to have you jump in. Say what's up to everybody real quick.
What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be here.
So this is where the story gets very interesting. So I told Austin, okay, what do we have to do to purchase this thing? Tell us what the next steps are.
Before we jump into that, how old are you?
24.
And where are you from?
Redmond, Oregon.
Redmond, Oregon.
And what do you usually do?
This is it. I just post pictures of Corvettes and stuff.
Boom.
I had a car lift fall on me and crush my leg pretty bad.
We do have pictures of that, Eric, if you want to add that in. It's pretty ridiculous.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it pretty much turned my whole life around. So while I was sitting on my butt all day trying to figure out what I needed to do, I started a Corvette fan page, and one thing led to another, and at the end of the story, here's where we're sitting.
Awesome. I'm glad I asked. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, pretty neat, right?
Did not know that.
He's like Mr. Deeds. Remember when the guy stabbed his foot with the poker, and he couldn't feel it?
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Right? You have no feeling except for your little toe.
Yeah. My pinky toe, I've got feeling and I can move it a little bit, but I mean, you could take a stake, stick it right through my big toe, and I would have no friggin' idea it even happened.
So you're set if anybody ever takes you hostage and tries to torture you for information. You're like, yeah, I bet you ain't got shit on that leg. You just saw right through it. I don't feel a thing.
Toenail, I dare you.
Yeah.
It's so we were like laughing about this last night though, but it's so interesting, the human body, that the pinky toe managed to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so
little guy's strong. You wouldn't give it up.
But we were joking around last night, like if it came down to a situation where they were gonna have to amputate all but the pinky toe, would you leave the pinky toe since it was fine, or would you be like, just take that too?
I don't know. I mean, you could come up with some pretty stubby nicknames and stuff, but
Yo, speaking of stubby nicknames, I have a friend who's missing his big toe. He got it chopped off in high school in a lawnmower accident. So just his big toe is gone. He still has the other four. And when he got older, he got a tattoo above the nub. It's just a gravestone that says R.I.P. number 10.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And his name is Nubby. We've called him Nubby since the beginning of time.
Great spot for a tattoo, and very, very good story. So, all right, so Mr. Deeds over here and I became friends, and he came through for us. So I didn't know how to buy the car. So I was like, "What? How do I even get it?" And he was like, "Well, you can wire me the money, right?" So, but there was an issue here. We had dads involved. Now, by the way, I'm 38, but I don't have a problem admitting that my dad got involved. His dad got involved too.
Yep.
I think both of our dads thought this was a bad idea.
Yeah,
Dads
absolutely.
usually do.
My dad was more concerned with the whole fact of, that it's in the middle of winter and you want to drive a rear-wheel drive sports car all the way across the United States. That's absolutely reckless, but
Through every type of terrain and condition that you're probably going to face.
absolutely. And we hit every terrain you can even think of along the way.
Went off-roading a little bit in
We
the
hit a
79.
snowstorm immediately. So my dad was like, you are going to let some young boy that you don't know buy a car from a stranger that you don't know.
And hopefully drive it here.
And drive uninsured in the name of Blackstone Labs across the United States.
No, Dad, in the name of Christmas.
I was like, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? My dad was like, a lot of things.
Everything.
I was like, he'll be fine. We'll sort all that stuff out when he gets here. So we did it. We did, of course, insure the car. The money was wired. Also, funny part of the story, I forgot. I don't even know if I told you this. So he was like, can you get the bank to send a letter or prove that the funds have
Oh,
been
yeah.
sent.
Yes, you did tell me this.
He was like, I don't have any issue with you. And he's just, my dad doesn't know you. And he just wants to make sure the funds are definitely coming. And I was like, I mean, I don't know if I can like get them to send you a letter. I mean, just what do you want me to do? And how did we wind up getting it to work out in the end?
You sent me a screenshot of some funding, and I just remember texting you back like, well, goddamn, all right, man. Yeah, so I talked to my dad, and he's like, yep, you're good to go.
So,
period.
This is, Celeste, please don't sue me for this one, too, because I've given you enough already. But I screen capped the Blackstone Labs Chase Bank page. And I was like, can you just show this to your dad? And
Pops was like, all right, you got any openings for a job?
Yeah, I told David, I was like, I know this is like a douchey thing to do. But I feel like this.
But we need this Corvette really bad.
We need to get the Corvette right now. I feel like this is going to do it, which you did. So, so he started the journey on Sunday.
What you don't know is we actually photoshopped that.
Good to know. Well, it doesn't matter anymore.
We didn't Photoshop anything.
It cleared. We're good.
But it's a good thing because he wouldn't have left till Monday. And that would have screwed everything up because he left Sunday and he just got here last night. So originally I wanted him to be out of here by like yesterday because I had Steph coming in today, and now there's a big overlap, but there was no way around it because he lost another day driving and his brakes went out.
Yeah. So to start it all off, I started in Redmond, Oregon on Sunday night, and I was originally going to leave Monday, but it started pouring down some snow, so I said, screw this, we got to hit the road. We jumped in the car, and every pass where I was at was covered in snow, so I had to take a 5-hour detour and go up towards Washington backwards, drop into Portland, and then down to Corvallis, which is on the Oregon coast just about. And then I had to drive all the way down to Southern California and then cut across Arizona. And even in Arizona, I hit more snow. So I had to...
In the desert, I hit more snow.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing. I had no idea that Arizona had snow. So there was that. And then we started cruising. And when we got into New Mexico and Flagstaff, it got really, really cold and icy and more snow. But when I was going through Biggs Junction in Oregon, I hit a blizzard, and I could only go 25 miles an hour for about 35 miles. And that was a nightmare, especially in a 79 Corvette. Which, keep in mind, this Corvette has a 400 small block in it with a cammed motor, so it has a lot more horsepower than it
should.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many horsepower does it have? Do you know?
It's hard to say off the top of my head. I would say close to 400.
Yeah, I was going to say 400.
It's got an extra pony or two in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, yeah, we were cruising, and then I was going through New Mexico. Everything seemed good. Had to stop for gas like 100 times. But and when we were going through New Mexico, a little town called Gallup, I was doing about 80 miles an hour. And gas kept getting cheaper. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull over here and get some fuel. Went to hit the brakes. There wasn't any brakes. I completely lost all my brake fluid.
It's a good feeling.
And, oh, yeah, man.
Nothing like that. I'm doing about 80. Go to hit the brakes. I can't.
Tell them how he handled it in a very, calm way, though.
Yeah, so in that first, 30 seconds, you start counting your blessings when you're driving 80 miles an hour down the freeway in a Corvette. That's not going to stop for you. So luckily this Corvette is a 4-speed manual, and I started downshifting and using my
engine brake.
Yeah, using the transmission rather than the brakes, because there wasn't any. And I went up onto the overpass and took that exit, and then there was a car stopped in front of me, and I pulled that e-brake and threw the car completely sideways and got it to stop. But we were really, really lucky that we were able to get that done. And then the unfortunate part about all that was I'm in this little town of Gallup, New Mexico, and it's 6 degrees outside. And I get it into a Jiffy Lube, and they're telling us, oh, yeah, your brake calipers on your right side are absolutely shot. And I'm like, okay, well, let's get some new calipers on it. And nobody could get me the car calipers until about Wednesday, and that flat out was not working for me. So then I found myself walking through the town of Gallup back and forth for the next I was there for 26 hours, and in the 6-degree weather, and I was not dressed for it, but we were able to find all the brake calipers that we needed and get back on the road. But it took us 26 hours, and Pep Boys, they actually drove to Albuquerque to find one of the calipers for me and get it back on the road. And so we were back on the road Tuesday night rather than Wednesday afternoon.
Not to cut you off, just like, how did that go? You pulled this thing into a Jiffy Lube and then apparently went to a Pep Boys to get the correct parts that you needed to get the car to be able to stop. What did you say to these people when you walked in? You're like, yo, I know you ain't going to believe this, but I'm driving a 79 from Oregon to South Florida for this dude that owns a supplement company that wants to give it away for a Christmas contest. What did they say to you?
You know... I have talked about this journey that I'm doing everywhere I go. I mean, everywhere that I stop at a gas station, I got a bunch of guys out looking at the car, and
you're like, it ain't mine, but it's pretty, right?
Yeah. It's the same thing every time. I tell them the story, and everybody just kind of sits there for a second and goes,
"What?
Wait, you're driving this from West Coast to Southern East Coast?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually, yeah, I am." And they're like, "Is it gonna make it?" I'm like, "You know what? The car's done fabulous." And when I walked into Pep Boys, I told them what had happened. They're like, "You know, it's gonna snow more tonight, right?" And I'm like, "I don't give two shits."
You're like, I got racing slicks on this thing.
Are you kidding me? So, yeah, it's been a mind-blowing story all the way up until that point. And then that night, I got the car back on the road about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I drove from there. I drove 24, 25 hours straight without stopping all the way through the evening. Yeah, because we lost a whole day.
Right.
I was supposed to be here a day early. And but, yeah, we had some really cool stuff going on. I went through Texas, and when I was going through Amarillo at like 2:30 in the morning, I got to witness a really cool meteor shower in the skies, and Amarillo is absolutely flat. There was not a cloud in the sky.
No marijuana was consumed either. It was a real...
Have you ever seen a meteor shower?
No, can't say
Dude,
that.
it's pretty fucking spectacular.
I can't say that I have.
Marijuana or not.
It's really awesome when you're driving a 79 Corvette with T-tops.
Wow. I can't imagine. That would be fucking...
It lights up the whole sky.
On weed?
On them weeds there, boy.
So, yeah, from there we cruised on, kept driving, made it all the way to Dallas, and then our next mishap happened. I was going through Dallas, and my power steering blew out. And then driving a 79 with those wide tires with no power steering, it is a bitch to turn. Absolutely. So
it would have been horrible if he had to come the whole way like that, because I drove it last night and this morning without the power steering, and it's...
Worse than the Mercedes? When the power steering went out in that? Because that was a death trap.
No, that was different, because
that was
shit was like, you had to be He-Man to turn the wheel.
Yo, like...
But we found out in the end that the whole steering column was broken. That's why that was so bad.
Yeah, in that SLS you had, somebody somewhere down the line destroyed the power steering in it, and I was like the next one to drive it. And I drive the thing, and I'm like, this is, like I said last night, I've driven a lot of cars. The only car that I've ever driven that I was truly scared that I would kill myself in it. And I go to turn around the first corner, and I'm like moving in this very long front end car, and I'm making a turn, and I'm like, why the fuck is it so hard to turn? Holy shit. Before I made the next turn, I call him. I'm like, yo, what's up with the car? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I can barely fucking turn it through the intersection, bro. Yeah. Like, these tires are hard to spin by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
The steering column was broken on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those SLSs, they have much grippier tires than this old Falcon.
And it's such a wide wheelbase that, like...
Well, those are custom wheels. They're ridiculously wide.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to the SLS.
R.I.P.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Yes. Well, you know what? There was a cool part of the story that you left out that I remember from last night. While you were waiting in New Mexico, you got to witness something. You saw a meteor shower, but you also saw something else that I thought was pretty interesting.
In New Mexico?
Pretty sure it was in New Mexico.
You talking about the guy?
Yep.
No, that's Louisiana.
That was Louisiana.
Yeah, that was Louisiana.
Excuse me, we're not to Louisiana yet. Which, happens to be the worst state to drive through. We now know.
Oh my gosh, driving through
Pothole-wise?
Louisiana, just the roads and cops and everything. It's a nightmare. You can go 5 miles without seeing another stater sitting there waiting to pull somebody over.
Yeah.
And when you're driving through Louisiana on the interstate, it's like you're just going over like a car system,
Rubble
like
road.
speed bump. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so we made it through Dallas and everything, and on down into Louisiana, and the most bizarre thing happened. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Waterboy.
Yeah, of course. If you haven't, stop watching this podcast right now. Go watch that shit.
If you haven't seen Waterboy, you're not American.
Classic.
Stop what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm driving down through Louisiana, and I'm cruising, and as I'm going on, this like weird object is coming towards me, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And so I like merge over to the left lane, and I'm cruising, and sure as shit, this guy is driving a lawnmower down the interstate highway backwards. And I'm like, I'm freaking out because, I mean, Waterboy was one of my favorite movies growing up. So I'm like, shit was based on a true story.
I found him.
Yeah.
I found him.
I saw the real life Waterboy. He was driving down a freaking lawnmower down the Louisiana
How fast was
interstate.
he going?
I don't know. He was going
40?
negative because he was going the wrong
Oh,
way.
negative. Was it a green John Deere?
No, it was red.
It was a red one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
so, I mean,
he's
it
clearly
was
got places to be.
identical.
That's
man.
You can do stuff like that down there.
Yeah, he just had his hoodie on with his hand on the steering wheel, just cruising. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. But
I'm sure
yeah,
you'll
that
never
was-
forget this trip for the rest of your
Oh,
life.
yeah. No, absolutely.
I'm laughing because didn't you also see, this is all coming back to me from last night, we had a funny conversation about this already. Did you see a guy get attacked by K9 police dogs?
Oh, shit, yeah. So that was in Gallup, New Mexico.
Oh, back to New Mexico.
Yeah, so back to New Mexico. I just got the car, and I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to take advantage of that cheap fuel that I was going to buy, you know? So I pull back into that gas station, and I'm sitting there, and I get out to put some fuel in the Vette, and I look over to my left, and these two squad cars roll up, K9 units, and I'm like...
At the gas station?
Yeah, at the gas station. And I'm like, what the hell? They got their lights on and whatnot. And this guy comes running out of the gas station and comes taking off down the street. And the cops go over, pop open their doors. Two German Shepherds run out and go and just maul this dude. And I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen anything like that. So that was pretty insane.
That would have
too.
made the trip for me.
That would have
Oh
been
my
it, yeah.
God.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
What did he do? Try to rob the store or something?
I don't know. I don't know what he did.
He came running out of the gas station?
Yeah, and
Safe to say.
Yeah, probably hit
He
that silent
probably
alarm.
was, but
yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. And those police dogs, I'll tell you right now, they don't mess around. That was some crazy shit.
No,
So,
those things are missiles.
Yeah.
They will catch you.
I watched a bunch of the
For
training videos on those. They're awesome.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I've seen the training videos, but
I want to
seeing
get a couple of those for Redcon.
seeing that happen in real
Just
life,
get them to smell really shitty products and then just find your way over there.
Like, honestly, dude, my dog, if you're running from it, there's absolutely, you stand no chance.
I won't run from a trained dog like that.
Yeah.
Just like when a bear attacks you, they tell you to just like cover your head and go
Just
down.
try not to die.
That's what I'm doing. I'm
No.
not running.
yeah, it was insane. So, and yeah, that guy was screaming like I've never heard anybody scream in my
Oh,
life.
yeah, that
but,
shit don't feel good.
It's a lot different when you're not wearing that special foam suit.
No, it's a lot different.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure he got ripped up pretty good.
Those teeth go right through, start hitting the nerves next to your bones. It don't feel
Oh,
great.
So while this is all going on, I'm like, planning out my week. All my weeks are crazy. I got another crazy ass week next week. Another very special guest coming next week that we're excited about. And I'm like always just wanting to keep everything organized. So I reach out to him and I'm like, how is everything going? Thinking that he's going to be here soon. And he's like, oh, you didn't hear? And this is instantly where like I'm already like, why didn't my fucking assistant say anything to me? Excuse my language. And I'm like, no, what should I
I
hear?
have heard?
And he like gives me like the Cliff's Notes version of what we just talked about for the past 20 minutes, and I'm like, son of a bitch. So I'm like quiet for a minute. I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, yes. I'm like, is the car okay? He's like, yes. I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm like, all right, well, I was like, you're the man. See when you get here. And he wound up getting here. What time did you got here yesterday? At what, 5?
5:30.
5:30 at night.
Yeah.
So left Oregon Sunday and pulled into Blackstone Labs headquarters last night.
Yep.
And there's only one thing to do after all that driving. When you get into Boca Raton,
Hit some donuts.
Did you do any donuts?
No.
You can tell us. We don't care.
No, I don't know where you would go do donuts.
Nah, the other thing that you do after that, if you're not doing donuts, is you go to Santos. That's like, you go to Santos.
Oh yeah, we definitely did that, and Santos was.
He was like, "This place is great." I'm like, I've never not taken somebody here for the first time and have them not respond the same way.
Yeah.
Because when you just tell somebody that you're bringing them to like a buffet, kind of like, oh, buffet, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But like, you have to. I try to like let them know like it's not really a buffet. It is a buffet, but you're gonna be able to eat really good sushi and really good like steaks and Americanized food.
Yep.
I think we went there once.
Pretty sure.
That's all it takes is somebody to realize that they've been there one time. They're like, oh shit.
And basically, anyone that I've ever cared about, I've brought to Santos. If I didn't bring you there, it's not a good sign.
Damn, you've never brought me to Santos before. Shit, you fucking heard it here first.
Like all over the country, there are people that are a part of Blackstone Labs that I have taken to Santos. It's like my go-to.
But not the Colonel.
In fact, we have guests. I've never gone there with you.
No.
Eric, how many times have you been to Santos with me? Dozens.
Dozens?
So, how many times have you been a part of us bringing an athlete or a guest to Santos? They want to go. Every photo shoot ever, they're like, can we go to Santos? Like, any new person. I'm like, of course.
I'm not going to hold it against you because I don't really like...
Well, I'll go to Santos tonight. I'm never...
Oh, shit. I'm in.
The problem is like, I love taking people to Santos, and they love going. But if you live here all the time and you have the like, option to go there all the time, for whatever reason, a lot of people don't like appreciate.
It's kind of like a pub sub.
Yeah, they don't appreciate it the same way. Yes, exactly. Like like when you show somebody a pub sub, they're gonna be like, "This is the best sub."
Have you ever had a pub sub?
No.
Publix?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you should probably just, for lunch. Don't do and just go to Publix right here and go get a chicken tender sub.
Is it walking distance?
Yeah, no, not walking
We'll
distance.
send somebody to do it. We'll make Teresa do it.
If anything, I'll bring you over there. No big deal.
Cool. Cool.
As soon as you're out of here, that's what you should do. Actually, it'll change your life. Get the chocolate chip cookies too.
Oh yeah.
Publix is so good.
And the lemonade. Yeah,
There's so many good things at Publix. We can get into a whole Publix talk if we want to.
Yeah, if you just know now that we're gonna get off this topic right now, but if you live in a state that doesn't have a Publix, you are thoroughly missing out. Their motto is Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. She knows.
That's what the lady said.
I'm sorry.
It truly is, though.
I don't know. I was just so excited about it. Yeah.
They've got a great soundtrack going at all times. It's just a good, upbeat place. It's just very, very happy.
It doesn't matter what happens to you in that store. If for any reason you are not pleased, you can just go to any manager and be like, you know what, this shopping was really not a pleasure today, and they'll just give you anything you want.
Yeah.
And literally anything you want.
I might have to test that.
No, you're gonna have to.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I've multiple times gone there for subs and just like I ordered it through the app and then it wasn't ready when I got there. And I had to wait like 5 minutes, and I got the sub. I just go right to that manager. I'm like, hey, man, I ordered this and said it was going to be ready 10 minutes ago. I'm on lunch break. Kind of had to wait for it. They're like, oh, no, comp that for you right now. I'm like, thank you. Appreciate that.
Isn't that an amazing world that we live in now?
Yep.
Yeah,
it's only at Publix,
crazy.
though. Don't do
You
that shit at
order
Walmart.
it on your app, go to get it, and they didn't do it in the time that you want it, and so they give it to you for free.
Yep.
How about that?
Shouldn't have that sign up, though.
No.
Because I'm going to take advantage of that sign, bitch.
Because they put that sign up and they were like, we have to do this.
We have to do this, and then nobody does it because, I mean, to be honest, the Haitian ladies in the back just don't care
No.
about that sign.
All right, so we got the Corvette here, thank God. So now that we told you guys all this bad shit about this car to make you all not want it, what we did...
That's okay because we'll keep it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
for all of us are not happy about what's going on right now because David was the first to tell me when the car got here last night, he was like, I'm so upset that we're giving this car away. He's like, you're going to be mad. And then I got it last night, and I was like, fuck, I can't believe we're giving this car away, excuse my language. And then I brought it here today, and my dad took it, and he was like, damn, this car is pretty awesome. So we've already, strategized everything that we're going to do in case whoever wins doesn't want the car. But to all the people that do actually want the car, that are going to participate in this, we brought it over to Superior Street Auto, who wrapped the Corvette when I had the Punisher, the crazy Punisher wrap, which is what got him to see me, I think, in the first place. Was that car got featured on his page.
Did you like that wrap?
Yeah. It was very aggressive and very
polarizing.
different. Yeah,
It was love it or hate it.
Absolutely. I mean, it was
Yeah.
for me when I posted the Punisher Vette on my page. A lot of people were like, "Wow, We've seen a lot of crazy raps through Street Speed 717. He does some crazy Corvette raps.
True.
But for something that's aggressive and mean, but also kind of subtle, it was perfect. It's what everybody wanted to see.
It was that car got so much attention that I didn't care if people hated it because I specifically wanted it to be really aggressive. Like, I would have never done that to the F12. Like, I think the F12 is perfect black. I don't do anything to it.
Yeah, it's classy.
I love that car black. But when I saw them next to each other in my driveway one day, I was like, you've got the Ferrari and you have the Ferrari Killer, and they're very, very similar. I'm like, so I drive the Corvette more often, so I want to make it like really, really, really stand out. And so, I came up with the idea for that Punisher Rap. And when the guys at Superior brought it back to me, in real life seeing it, I instantly was like, this is the coolest Corvette ever. And I would drive around and people would come up to me and be like, what is that? They didn't even know that it was Corvette because it made it look so just like abstract and different.
Yep.
But I would also have people come up to me and be like, that rap's ugly.
You destroyed it.
Yeah, you ruined it.
You ruined your car.
But regardless, it got a lot of attention that in the end left people going, what's Blackstone Labs?
Oh my God, that just reminded me. For the first time ever since I put the Blackstone Labs logo on the back of my car, I was in traffic yesterday. And this lady pulls up next to me in like an old RAV4. And she's like, yelling at me to roll down my window, and I roll down my window, and she's like, on the back of your car, and I'm like, yeah. She's like, is that like for Labrador retrievers or like laboratory? I was like, it's for laboratory, but I like Labrador retrievers too. She's like, bye, honey. I was like, bye.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I've never had anybody.
That's the first. I've never gotten that one.
Never had anybody associate that.
That's great. That's the next thing.
Literally made my day. I could not stop.
You know what's
smiling
funny
after
is
that.
somebody, I'm not making this up. Talk amongst yourselves for 2 minutes. Let me see if I have this.
Don't tell me what to do.
Just you're gonna laugh. If I find this, you're gonna laugh. This is worthy of me searching for you.
But no, I know that people oftentimes see the Blackstone Labs on the back, and they're like, I wonder what this asshole does that he drives like this loud fucking car. And then they look it up and they're like, oh, it's workout supplements, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I can find this, I'm gonna be so pleased with myself.
Is it? So for the Ferrari Killer, I mean, I know some people, like possibly you, may think that they truly are Ferrari killers, but it depends on what Ferrari, because like, you go up against a twin turbo Berlinetta and it's gonna end bad for pretty much anybody.
Yeah. Well.
Well, when you think about stock cars and what you're getting when you buy a Corvette versus what you're getting when you're buying a Ferrari.
Yeah.
For example, the new Corvette ZR1 you can get for $140,000, and it's 755 horsepower, and
isn't it like 750 torque too?
No, it's like 680 or something like that.
That's still great.
I'm sorry for butchering that, but yeah, no, it's insane, and you can do 0 to 60 in 2.85 seconds, and you can get in a 6-speed manual transmission, or no, I think it's an 8-speed.
Yeah, I think it is
7-speed manual now.
Did they have a
8-speed automatic?
I was gonna say the automatic is like Triptonic.
Triptonic.
Yeah. That one's 8-speed. It's funny because I had a rental car that was a Ford that it had 10 speeds.
Yeah, that's
It
insane.
had 10 speeds in a Ford, and I was like, because I'm on the highway and I'm in like 7th.
10 speeds? When?
Yeah, when I had that white rental.
Really?
Yeah, because and it was, granted, it's only a 2.0. You know what I'm saying, like
Right.
turbo, but like. I was on the highway doing like 80, and like I clicked the thing and it went up to 8, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It has 8 speeds. And I hit it again and it went to 9, and I was like, what is this? What car has 9 speeds? And it went up again, and I was like, all right, I quit.
Semi-trucks.
I don't know why does this car have 10 speeds? It doesn't go fast. Like
Yeah.
it's a base model Ford, and you put a 10-speed transmission in it.
Doesn't
like,
make any sense.
What is this? A bike? Like
Yeah, apparently.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so
but-
I used to have a Huffy that did that back in the day too.
Somebody sent this to me, saying the new sponsored athletes for Blackstone Labs, and they were like, "It's a good idea," and they sent me this picture, and I was like, "Those are Blackstone Labs. Those would be great reps for Blackstone Labs."
Those are the best. I've actually had multiple people say things like
Send
that.
that to you before?
It is, yeah. Yeah, they are good reps.
Anyway, so I just showed everybody a little box of precious black lab puppies. That's what that is there.
No stones in that picture, though. Kind of weird.
Now, nope, there might be a rock holding the bucket down the back. So, anyway, I went over to Sanchez, who owns Superior Street Auto, and I was like, dude, make this thing freaking perfect. However, this presented the biggest question of the week, really. He said, do you want to wrap it? So I said, originally I thought we would give it a good Blackstone wrap, you know? And, you know, like we've wrapped the Juke. We wrapped pretty much everything here, at one point or another. But when I saw it clean, which I have posted a picture of it clean, it's very dirty right now because it's driven across the country, it looked pretty sick with the old classic paint. And then that started a debate, playing with your glasses, do we wrap the car and modernize it a little bit, or do we leave it more vintage, polish it up, and keep it there? On my Q&A this morning, it was about 60% in favor of the wrap, 40% in favor of keeping it classic. Once I got here, my dad, David, Eric, all want to keep it classic. What do you think, Josh? What do you think, Austin?
You go.
You want me to go first? You know, I'm kind of torn in both ways because I've seen all the Blackstone wraps and stuff that you guys have done, and every time that you guys do something, Blackstone Labs, it's unique, it's aggressive, and it goes with whatever it is that you wrap. I mean, the Hellcat, the Vette, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, it is a pretty mean-looking car, just jet black and classically vintage, and I mean, I love them both ways, and I mean the thing with wrap, I mean if you wrapped it and somebody didn't like the wrap and then they ended up winning the car, they can always take it off and have that vintage look. So I mean, it's kind of a win-win. So I mean, I don't know. I'm really pretty 50-50. I love the classic jet black that it has right now, and once it gets all touched up and fixed up, it's gonna look really clean. And we have a picture of what it looks like all cleaned up and everything, and it's a beautiful car. So it's one of those things. You can't really lose in the situation.
Yeah.
But you can't really win.
So in your opinion, being an expert, what condition is the paint in? Like, how could it use a new paint job? Because I haven't seen it clean and I haven't seen it in the sunlight.
If you wanted to go all out, yeah, you could sandblast it and repaint it because I mean it's the original paint.
Right.
It's 40 years old.
Yeah.
And I mean there is some.
Does it look bad for the original paint?
Hell no.
Right. There's not a lot of scratches, not a lot of dings, not a lot of like any oxidation or anything.
Yep. No paint peeling or anything. Yeah. See, that's a matte black.
That's satin black.
Satin black.
Let me see.
Ooh. Yeah. That doesn't look bad at all.
Man. I think even with the classic wheels, that'll look great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So just interestingly enough, also nobody's gonna be able to hear me. More women are saying to keep it how it is now. I've noticed than guys.
So, in my opinion, I think if the paint is good and it looks good, there's really no downside to wrapping it. You know what I mean? You could even do a color change. You could even just do it like satin
so
white.
I'm going to give you the downside now. Kristen Graham, who I love, everyone knows it's my crush, reached out to me after my Q&A today. Very, very intelligent girl. She always like thinks of things from different perspectives. She was like, the way I see it is solve your question. Solve your problem. You have to think of the question that you're asking. Who you want to buy this, or who you want to get these raffle tickets and get this car. She goes, if you wrap it, you're definitely going to get the Blackstone people that are following you really close that want that Blackstone wrapped car. And you're probably going to get a winner who's already, for the most part, been buying your products and be super, super proud and happy that they won. So if you don't wrap it and keep it, vintage style, you're going to appeal to more people and probably get people that are like, you know what, let me jump in this contest so I can try to win this Corvette. And maybe they buy some product that I'm not even going to take and wind up winning, and you never hear from them ever again. So which way do you want to go with it?
So the reason why I think that that's not necessarily true is because
that way would also, you in theory, my David believes this, get more of a broad demographic of people in spending money to get into the contest.
The reason why I don't think that that's true at all is because anybody is not going to enter because it's wrapped.
Do you think so?
Nobody's going to like the car, think it's a great contest, really want it, but say, it's matte cherry red. I specifically would not buy that car because of the wrap.
I think that's false.
You do. I think a lot of people think that's false.
I don't know. It's a car.
Like
Like,
if I wasn't following the brand, I wouldn't even bother.
And you saw this wrapped car
Yeah.
that was Blackstone, you'd be like, I don't give a fuck about winning. So, like, BSN's
you
car.
would not win a car because you didn't want to take a wrap
I
off?
wouldn't purchase something to enter a raffle to win a car that I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I disagree.
I
I think anybody that wants the car would
And you're also-
easily just pull the wrap off.
You're also showing distrust in your call center to follow up with those people to sell later.
Wait, what?
Huh?
By not trusting the call center to follow up with people that entered,
Uh-huh.
they should be able to convert those people down the line.
Another good point that nobody can hear because there's no microphone over there.
But at the same time, I think about it like this. I have a lot of people on my page that are watching live right now. And
I forgot we had that going.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's up, guys?
Yeah. That are watching live right now. And they're going to be buying product and stuff because they have seen this Corvette go across the United States, and they've been a part of this journey the whole way around. And yeah, so it's I'm trying to think.
Sorry, I
at the
threw
same
you
time,
off. That was a dick move on my part.
yeah.
I just
So
wanted
at
to
the
really,
same
throw
time,
everybody off.
um,
How weird is that?
I'm a pretty
Is that
firm.
weird for you?
No, that's fine.
Because that's not actually what you're doing, though. That's what it's.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's a little bit delayed.
Yeah, so at the same time, it's like, for me, when PJ sent me Blackstone Labs products for the first time, I have done Gold Standard, I've done a lot of different kinds of proteins and pre-workouts and stuff, and then I tried the Blackstone Labs product, and that's all I'm ever going to do from here on out. So at the same time, I kind of see it as, you might get somebody that might try out your product because they bought it specifically just to get into the raffle, and if they don't win, they have this stuff sitting around. If they try it, and a lot of my Corvette guys, they're all gym freaks. That's why Corvettes and supplements, they go hand in hand, because there's some stigma about having a Corvette and then being fit at the same time.
I think there is.
It's crazy. So, at the same time, these guys that like Corvettes, if they buy your supplement and then they try it, you might be having more loyal customers like that.
So,
at the same
I guess,
time.
to get the best of both worlds, what we could do is, advertise it classic. And then anybody that follows us closely, we can say, hey, if you win the car and you want it Blackstone wrapped, we'll wrap it for you. You know what I'm saying? Then that way there we get everybody that would normally enter because it doesn't have a wrap, which I think is absolutely false.
Would you be able to get a rendering of showing like what the wrap would look like?
Yeah.
Because if you do that, then you can advertise both sides of it and show what it would look like with and without the wrap. And if you win, you get to choose which one you want.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I think anybody that would be into it to get a classic car is not going to see it and say, "Oh, well, I love this classic car and everything, and like I would definitely spend $200 on it if it didn't have this wrap on it." They're definitely going to spend the $200 and just take the fucking wrap off. There's nobody in the world. Come on, like, yeah.
You're looking at it wrong though. It's the car. If you don't want to, if you go for a Ford Fusion, then you appeal to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not a Corvette guy to begin with, you're not even gonna try.
Exactly. Anybody that's really into it for the car has no problem pulling off that wrap in their garage.
If you're a Corvette guy or not, you're gonna rap.
Yeah.
But if you want to appeal to the masses, get a Taurus.
Yeah.
You're gonna appeal to everybody.
Right.
Eric?
I think it's still a mistake. I think Alfring is an option. If it's a Blackstone oil, that's fine. No one can hear, but you're just cutting off immediately half the people that would enter. And if we're trying to get people that buy other brands to buy ours, like it's
So this is Eric, David, and my dad's opinion, who, although different people, you could say would be part of like a similar demographic, I suppose. That
You think Eric, Dave, and your dad are all in the similar
from a
demographic?
car perspective, I think
Okay.
they're going to look at it
Maybe from a car perspective.
in a more conservative way, you know.
Yeah.
So if that group of like more conservative approached people are all turned off to it, I mean that's a pretty large group of people if you think about it. The Eric, David's, and my dad's.
And I agree.
asking people that aren't Blackstone loyals what they think.
All right, I agree, but now let's look at it from this perspective. Let's say it's your dad sees a giveaway.
Yep.
For some other company, let's say it's for something he doesn't even use. Let's say it's for a bass bait company. And he says that they're giving away his favorite Corvette ever, but it's wrapped in the sports team that he hates the most. Is your dad not going to enter the giveaway to maybe get the car, knowing that even though it's wrapped in Dolphins and he's a Broncos fan, he could just take the wrap off? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see him being like, I would enter this contest, but it's
that had Redcon on it.
Yeah,
if it was like a good gig.
Yeah, but you hate that company. But if it was a company you had absolutely no affiliation with, had never used their stuff before, and they were giving away something you really wanted, and it so happened to be wrapped in something you absolutely hated, would you? Man, I'm not going to do it just because it's wrapped in that.
I mean, I know enough about cars that it wouldn't be a big deal, but what if somebody doesn't know what we know, and they're like, oh, I have to have this thing that says Blackstone on it? It'd be so much cooler if it didn't say Blackstone on it, because they don't know, like, oh, it's just a wrap that you can take off.
Yeah, I mean,
Big sticker.
yeah, maybe if they don't know that a wrap is a big sticker, but if you live in 2018 and you don't know that a wrap is a big sticker and you can take it off.
There's a lot of people that don't know, because
also a Blackstone paint job would be way too fucking expensive, y'all. Sorry.
Well, there were people that people did say to me about paint. I'm like, we're not painting it.
Blackstone paint job would be damn near half the price of the car.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that don't
more than
understand
yeah,
that, you know.
Yeah.
Because they were like, what are you going to do to the paint? I was like, paint. We're definitely not getting into paint.
Put a sticker on it.
Yeah, no, if you repainted that in
it would
like a
devalue
Blackstone wrap kind of way, if you did it with paint, it would run you around 20 grand.
Yeah.
And it would just devalue the car.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we still don't really know.
My thought with doing the wrap is even if you just wrapped it in a gloss black to look exactly as it is now, you're protecting the original paint and getting away of any scratches, dings, or any imperfections. And then on top of that wrap, you could do a Blackstone decal that they could easily just take off if they wanted and still have a protective wrap. But,
That's true.
Doesn't matter either way.
That honestly might be the best way to go.
I saw the wrap as more so of like hey, we're giving away a classic car, and the paint, which is already pristine, is also still going to be protected from it.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of like legal things that have to be covered with this with the attorney anyway, because my dad was concerned also about the car saying Blackstone Labs and then somebody like
committing a crime,
yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but think about how many people have like Pittsburgh Steelers
on their car,
things on their cars,
and then rob a bank.
Shit.
Yeah,
you can't go sue the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there's definitely legal things that I think waivers and whatnot that get signed. As I'm sitting here while we're talking, looking at images on Google of satin wrapped Stingrays, I mean, they do look pretty awesome.
They look great.
There are some very, very cool ones in here of different years too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. My decision, go satin black. And
you should do satin black and just put the same Punisher logo that was on your Vette.
I have a watch now that was given to me because of that. Pass this over to Eric, please. That's the T-top, what it would look like without the things on the top in satin.
Woo!
Oh, I'm bummed. I didn't hit warm weather until I got here to Florida, and I really would have loved to take the T-tops off.
And I just don't. It doesn't do it for me.
So
now I can understand the classic.
So that's my other.
I like the classic look. Don't get me
thinking
wrong.
Of us getting the maximum number of entrants, but my personal choice is to keep the classic paint.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Here is an image of.
It just needs a little love.
Here's an image of the car clean, which gives a much different perspective of it, because it looks very, very cool with it all cleaned up and polished, which I just posted a little while ago on my personal page. Looks a lot different.
Same exact car.
Yep. That's just very clean and polished versus what it looked like today.
That actually is that picture is the driveway of where I took the car out of.
It's way different, right? It's dramatically different when you see it like that. What do you think now?
You have another picture of it like this?
No, that's the only one I have of it like that.
Well, this drastically sways my opinion. It looks very good clean.
It's very, very different,
that
right?
paint is immaculate. It would almost be a shame to wrap it.
Well, I think that's enough of this discussion to say that we'll leave the car with the factory paint. And
or at least offer that we will put at least
We
put
can get
Blackstone-
a rendering done.
instead of
we
wrapping the
will
entire
do
car.
this. If you're a fucking pain in the ass and want us to spend way more money wrapping it now for $4,000,
No, not even.
We'll add this on.
No,
to it
not
too.
even. I think we should
Excuse
just
my language.
give. We should just give the option of adding a decal, a Blackstone decal on like
Yes,
the back hip.
I will give second, third, fourth, and fifth place raffle tickets decals for sure.
Yeah. So first place gets the car and the decal, and then everybody
A
else.
Legion member wins, they get it in wrap. And because they already have the marketing material, they can sign up to be a Legion if they're not.
Boom.
Because they're going to have a Blackstone.
Repeat that. That's great.
So if a Legion member wins the contest, it'll come wrapped, per your request, and
They have the best marketing material.
you'll already have the best marketing. Actually, not only will we get it wrapped, but we'll get it wrapped with your code on the back window.
And we'll wrap it any
Fill the trunk with some
color you want.
Any color wrap with your code on the back window, so you can advertise your Legion code.
It's a great deal.
Man, we're fucking
That is a
awesome!
great
Holy
deal.
shit!
Who does shit like that outside of Oprah Winfrey? Because that's what people keep telling me this
I
week.
was actually gonna
Every
say.
time I'm like, who gives away a car besides Blackstone Labs? Each person is instantly, they don't even think about it. They're like, Oprah. I'm like, fuck, you know? I guess, yes, she does, but
Yeah, but
All right.
outside of her,
All right, well, if we're second to the richest woman on the planet,
outside of people that own their own island, who else does stuff like that?
yeah,
you know what else though? Oprah gives away Honda Civics, and we're giving away a '79
Good point.
Corvette.
that's
Right?
cammed out. We will
Let's-
smoke
let's-
every
let's
car
be
she's
real.
ever given away.
Yeah.
Now that we've talked about this Corvette
For a
and this
while.
journey, I think we
Poor
have
Stephanie, she's probably got to have a meal at this point.
Stephanie and 4 questions still.
All right, so do you have any last words for people that are listening in at this point?
Any last words before you go?
Follow
get
the
pub sub?
page at least, right?
Yeah, definitely go check out my page. It's at Vette Kingdom, and that's VETTE Kingdom, no spaces. Go follow it. Send me a DM, and if you guys have any other Corvette pictures and whatnot, I'm always looking to post more and talk more, and there's going to be a lot more pictures of this Corvette coming up.
And chances
I was
are,
following him before he was following me, by the way.
if you ever
I like his
want
page that much.
to buy a classic Corvette and have it driven over to you, he's probably the dude to talk to to do it because he's
I
got
was
the
like-
ability.
I threw it out there, right? The way that little conversation went. So I was like, all right, man, let's look into the transportation of this vehicle, how much it's going to cost, probably around $1,000 or so to get this thing transported out here. And he was like, man, my only regret is that I'm never going to get to drive this car. And I was like, well, do you want to drive it to me? And then I just won't pay to fucking get it transported. Excuse my language. And he was like, yeah, really? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, dude, I would totally do that. And I go, if you would totally do that, let's do it because that's an awesome story. That's going to lead to something good, which it just led to what we just talked about for the past hour.
Yeah, I had 48 hours to decide if I was going to drive across the United States with a Vette or not, and
How do you say
sometimes
no?
you just got to send it.
How do you say no, man?
Yeah,
That's like
no.
Just like,
that's
You
like one of
can't
those
do it.
things that like opportunity doesn't always knock, and when it does, you got to let that
Yeah.
motherfucker in, man.
but at the same
absolutely.
time, for me, I was like, if this kid drives the car here and it makes it, I'm going to feel confident that it's not going to blow up when we give it to somebody. So this is like the test run. So we passed the test run.
Well, I mean, 4,388 miles later, yeah, no, we definitely passed the.
I mean,
test.
usually you buy a used car, you drive it around the block, and if it makes it around the block, you usually are, pretty confident that it'll make it home. This one just went cross country. You're
funny.
good.
It'd be funny to see, like, if you could enter this exact data into Kelly Blue Book, what the new value of the car would be.
That would be great.
That would be interesting for sure.
It just shows up negative now. All right, let's not talk bad about the car anymore because we want people to buy our products and make us money. So
I didn't think anything we've said so far was bad.
No, it's
I think it's
cool.
an
It's
awesome
all getting
story.
fixed right now as we speak. So
Yeah, it's literally just got pulled into the shop, and if you guys want to see that getting driven away to our what company is it that's fixing it again?
Superior Street Auto.
Yeah,
who's
Superior.
reminded me, although I know I don't need to be reminded, to tag them in the posts that we make about it.
Yeah, so I did a live just before this of them taking the Corvette and parking it behind the shop and whatnot. And so if you want to go see exactly what it looked like before this whole transformation happens, you can definitely go check out my page. And we're going to have some great content on there here really soon.
And this will be out Saturday, noonish, right? So if you are listening to this and you're in the area and you want to go see where the Corvette is, you can drive in there and see if it's in the back parking lot, and it may be. And if it is, please tell me, because that means they're fucking liars, excuse my language, because they said they're going to start working on it right now.
I feel like we should like fill the trunk with like protein or dust.
That's a good idea.
Not in containers. Like, I mean, like
getting these good ideas that are gonna make us need to sell more product to get this.
Well, no. I was thinking. I feel like we should put like products in the trunk, and then like somewhere in the cockpit area have like a fucking compartment for like a spare dust scoop.
That's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
Find the compartment.
Secret compartment for your spare dust scoop that nobody knows about in case you got any like reserves of Dust Extreme laying around that you're trying to hide from your boys when you're going to the
It's
gym.
a good idea. We would do something like that.
Like secret, like James Bond dust compartment type thing.
That would be sweet.
That would be pretty
Did
dope.
we take all the tickets out of there? The receipts?
Oh, that was one thing that we didn't talk about.
Receipts in there. Holy shit.
I don't know if maybe we were trying to skip over the.
Oh yeah, so I'll cover that real quick. So. Before I came across the country, PJ's just like, hey, you know what? Keep all your receipts and whatnot. We'll reimburse you when you get here, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay. So I start driving, and I'm hitting gas station. I'm throwing each one of these receipts in the glove box so I'm not losing everything. By the time I'm through Texas, every time I'm opening and along with the speeding ticket I got, which I didn't talk about.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
If we needed to go over the speeding ticket.
Yeah, I was... The speedometer is being adjusted there as well because the speedometer is off. Once you hit about 60, then it starts
staying
not
at 60.
Reading exactly. And so I thought I was doing about 80, and I was doing 98. So I got pulled over for 98 and a 75. I had no idea, but whatever. So now the receipts are so stacked in there now that you open up the glove box and they come piling out. So
it was like that.
Eric got it on video. I think it's pretty funny. When he opened it up, they all just like.
It's like the scene in Liar Liar when the cop pulls him over
and
he's like anything else? He's like, I have unpaid parking tickets.
It actually is like that.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right, awesome. Well, let's say bye to Austin. You're probably starving, huh?
Yeah.
Poor guy hasn't
I'm
eaten
ready
yet.
to.
Go to Publix.
Fare thee well.
What's it called?
Go to Publix.
Chicken tender, pub
Publix.
sub, do white American cheese, and definitely get the boar's head honey mustard.
I will
Text me
I'll have
Got you.
Teresa bring you over there too. Let me text her right now. Please help you get food.
Awesome. Well, it really was a pleasure doing this, and thanks for having me on your podcast. I do appreciate it.
No, thank you for everything. This has been awesome. He likes it here so much that he's going to stay for a couple extra days.
Hell yeah.
And he's going to just find stuff to do out here.
Stay out of the strip clubs,
There's
man.
plenty. Do not go to
yeah.
Scarlett's or 11 or
Monroe's.
actually go to Scarlett's.
Anthony and I are going to hit the town tonight, I think. So.
Dope. That's a good partner.
Well, depending on how tired I am later on, maybe I can.
Yeah, join us.
Probably not, but I would like to.
come
Seven years
on.
ago, 7 years ago.
You don't
I
know him well
invested in
enough.
it.
He does this a lot.
Yeah, you know what? It's. I'm only in town.
I'll be
for a
really
couple
tired
days.
by like 10 o'clock, so I took a big game earlier in the day.
Drink some pre-workout and come out.
Can you please help Austin get food? There you go. You're all set.
Awesome. All right.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Always.
We'll talk more when I'm done in here.
Pleasure, brother.
Pleasure.
Go eat.
You want to hand me my phone over there?
Nah, man, we're keeping that.
Awesome.
All right, so we're gonna bring Steph over now. Steph, are you starving?
I'm all right.
He hasn't even eaten yet 2 days, so we gotta help
Me
him.
neither.
You know, he needs to go.
All right.
Yeah, well, I never eat, so.
Yeah.
I'm used to starving.
I fast all day. So
I've been
for me,
doing
it's
your
like
little
whatever.
fasting thing
I ate
recently.
a couple of these little things in here. I don't consider this breaking the fast. We ate a little of these.
I was actually going to ask you about that because, like, I feel like I do unintentional intermittent fasting basically every day. And, like,
Unintentional, yeah. I've done
well,
it before.
My mom
yeah,
does that too. So.
I do it. I think that's why I stay so lean all the time is because I don't
Dude,
really mean to fast.
When
but
I
do.
started the fasting after the Olympia, I just started getting leaner and leaner. And so my mom actually, we had this discussion where she was basically saying that she was doing more and more during the day and that she just didn't eat until she got home at night and that's how she started losing weight. And I was like, well, that's basically intermittent fasting. Congratulations. It works, right? She was like, yeah. So I'm actually going to intermittent fast for the rest of my life. So it's very easy for me.
That's how I feel about it. I don't like Billy doesn't understand how the second I get hungry, how I can't eat immediately. And like I do notice a mood change. Like I'm definitely not happy. I'm definitely aggressive. I'm definitely not like personable, but like I don't die. I don't know.
That, like Marissa is like that too. She's like, I get very cranky when it's time for me
I
to
get
eat.
so angry.
And
You do, or she says she does?
she does. And I'm like, I think it's psychological. I really do. I mean, I guess maybe I could be a little bit testy, but personally, like I find that once you start feeling hungry, your body starts going into basically what I call search mode, where it's essentially looking for food. Like you're looking for calories, and this is when you become the most productive. And my productivity has gotten better and better and better the more acclimated that I have gotten to the fasting.
Yeah.
Like I honestly feel like, with exception to the like lawsuit drama with like my ex-wife and Aaron Sermon, that if you take those two aspects out of my life, which of course are going to put me in a shitty mood, I'm very, very happy with
being
everything
hungry.
else being hungry. Like it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. I eat when I'm done with everything at night at 6 o'clock, and I go to bed around midnight, and that's when I eat. I wake up around 5. I train fine in the morning. I do cardio after fine, and then I'm very active all day. That takes my mind off of being like, oh, I'm hungry. So,
and that's another thing that definitely contributes to me being able to do the fasting more easily now, is that like I've been training way less. So like if I go and train, I will be ravenously hungry. 100%.
I'm hungry now because we've been sitting in here doing this, but normally my day is not like this. This is only once a week that I do the podcast. So, you know, when I was at Nationals with Sammy, I was so hungry by like noon, but I was just sitting there watching the show. You know what I mean?
Right.
My normal days, I'm moving super fast. And the more hungry I get, I find that I start getting more and more done. So,
and also with the fasting, I've noticed that like if you fast all day and then like, you don't eat until later on, like I could be hungry to the point where I feel like I could eat an entire table of food. I have about 3 bites and I'm like, wow, that was a Thanksgiving feast.
Yeah,
Your
stomach
shrinks.
gets smaller. I can't eat nearly as much.
I mean, when you're eating constantly, like for me, like it makes you hungry. It makes you hungrier. Your metabolism's going.
Yeah.
So.
What kind of perfume are you wearing?
It's Chanel.
It smells really good.
Oh,
you
Chanel.
Smell that in here?
No.
It's like taking over the whole room, but it's good.
I didn't smell it.
I thought it was Austin the whole time until she sat next to me. I was like,
I've got sinus issues right now.
And now it's like more strong with her here. And I was going to tell him like, yo, man, you smell good. I kind of had a feeling it was coming from over there, but it just kind of like took over the room.
I feel like
Chanel Chance.
How about that, ladies? If you want to know what Lord Braun thinks smells good, there you go. I just figured it out myself.
I feel like that's one thing that like you can't really tell a woman that you don't know that she smells good without her being like, okay, buddy, all right.
I'm so not into like scents though. Like I'm like the worst. Like because like Marissa will be like, "What kind of perfume do you like?" I'm like, "I don't know. What do you smell like right now?" I like that one.
Yeah, it's good.
You know,
whatever's
like,
good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like every time I've ever like passed by a woman that smelled good, and I was like, "Oh, what kind of perfume are you wearing?" They're like, "Why do you care, motherfucker?"
She's like,
I'm like,
"I'm married,
"All right,
asshole. That's
you
what kind
fucking
of perfume
smell
I'm wearing."
good,
They
Jesus."
just think you're trying to come on.
Well, that's what it is. Is like it's like I can't note that you smell good without you thinking that I'm trying to get with you.
It just depends on the woman.
It's like, come on, you
But
smell good.
That's also like if you compliment their shoes, they're gonna think the same.
Right.
See, I feel like perfume is like extra more so. They think you're trying to get at them if you tell them that they smell good.
There's a few things that I purposely won't say, even if I do notice it, just because I don't want them to think that I'm hitting on them.
True.
I won't talk about their shoes.
I'll tell them because I'm really into shoes. So I'll tell you all day long, yo, I like your shoes.
Yeah, I like your shoes, by the way. I know.
Right. Thank
so
you.
that's like
Thank you.
that. There is that possibility that you just really like shoes.
Right.
But I personally think when I see a guy compliment a girl's shoes, I'm like, amateur.
Okay.
This is very true.
I'm like, look at this amateur complimenting her shoes.
But see, so that's the thing is like if I'm complimenting your shoes, I truly don't give a fuck about how hot you are.
Right.
I really just like your shoes.
That's why I say it depends on the woman. Like,
Yeah.
some people can
Whereas,
be, "Oh, I
like-
just liked my perfume.
But see, that's the thing is like if you're into shoes and you compliment somebody's shoes just because you like their shoes, that's one thing. Like, what dude is a perfume connoisseur? Nobody.
Well, I also think that it's super lame when guys tell girls that they have pretty eyes. I think that's like the most lame fucking thing in the world. Because guess what? Most of them don't even have that color eyes.
True. Very true.
It's true. Like we had a guest come in here one time. I'm not gonna fucking talk about who it was, but they were like, "Oh, her eyes are so beautiful," and I was like, "What color are they today?"
Oh yeah, I'm right. Yeah.
And the girl was like, "Her eyes are not that color," and I was like,
No.
Today they might be. I don't know. What
Look at
color?
Instagram. Like you can see it change by week. But that's one thing that like you know Tara has brown eyes and I have brown eyes and every now and again she'll tell me I have such pretty eyes and I'm like just stop lying. They're brown.
I think the shape of,
But you can have, there's different shades of brown.
Yeah.
But I think the shape of the eye is what will make it pretty. You know, like the color, of course, enhances
shape?
that. But yeah, like some people have prettier shaped eyes. Like some people have like little beady eyes. Some people have like really bug out, scary eyes.
I thought you meant like the shape of the actual like where the color is the eye. I'm like, who do you know?
Like the eye, the way it sits.
That has a different shape
like
pupil.
my eyes sit like real far back in my head. I hate that. You know,
Okay.
I don't like that. Some people's eyes sit really, really far forward and they look more bugged. Like I'm sure those people aren't that happy about that. You know, but
Yeah.
then you have people that have like more almond shaped eyes or like you know.
Dude, we went to GameStop last night to pick up Super Smash Brothers at midnight. Oh, what you know? And the girl behind the counter, I have no idea like what could have been wrong with her. I've never seen somebody as skinny as she was in my life. in my life. I've never her.
What made you think about that? Is it because she's so lean?
No, it was because
Thanks.
something else that we just
He must
said.
be hitting on
Oh,
me.
about your eyes being sunk in, because her face was definitely a little bit strange too, and like I'm not exaggerating. Her bicep, this here, her arm, it was maybe this big around.
Eating disorder.
Maybe.
Probably.
Like her body was like she kind of like had a
Have
hunch.
very strange like thyroid condition.
She had like a
or-
hunch over and stuff. You could tell like something was wrong. But like I've just never seen somebody with limbs so small in my life. I was just thinking like, if you fell out of bed, you would die. Like,
Did she look like she had a disorder?
yeah, she looked like something was wrong.
That's
Like
sad.
she was talking to me absolutely normal and like, you know, cash me out fine and everything. But I couldn't help but stare at her the whole time. I was like looking at myself and looking at her, and I'm like, yo, like I'm not the biggest person ever, but you're like actually like really fucking tight.
How big was she in comparison to Claudia, who is the smallest person I know?
Okay, so like I'm sure if we went out and like look at Claudia's arms, like it would be bigger than this. Like it was literally like her arm was the thickness of a pool cue.
Claudia is so small, so this girl has to be very, very small, that even when eating whatever she wants on her heaviest day, she's actually not even 90 pounds.
I know.
She's like 89 pounds, 87 pounds.
But like
She works here.
Yes.
yeah.
Claudia!
But to me, she doesn't look like unhealthy. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like
she's just a very small person.
she's just short. She
But
doesn't look
she's
unhealthy.
so small that she's like our full-time camera person, right?
Okay.
When Eric is like doing all the like the editing and like, you know, like executive work, she's the person that comes and shoots the videos, and she is so small that it's like dislocating
holds the camera
her
like
fucking
this.
arm to hold the camera now.
She
Or,
holds it
like,
up
we
like
have to
this.
like sign her up for like therapy now for her arm, from the weight of the camera being too much for her tiny little precious arm to hold it.
We have
Not even making that up.
We have to sign her up for therapy.
It looked like she might need like physical therapy. Like the other day, her arm was almost dislocated.
We just put her on
You
some.
could see it was considerably different on one side than the other.
We can just put her on some tren.
Hold on a minute.
We'll bulk that arm right up. We don't need no physical therapy.
Is Claudia here still?
We'll have her jacked doing
Come
reps.
here for a minute. You're the size of your arms and stuff are the subject of important conversation in here.
Let me look at the size of her arms. Take your jacket off for
Can we
us.
see the size?
Flex that bicep, dog. Yeah, see, like, her arms are legitimately 5 to 6 times, maybe even more, bigger than the girl that I saw last night.
Really?
Yeah.
How much? Do
And
you
she
weigh,
was
Claudia?
probably about her height, too.
Claudia, how much do you weigh? Oh, you're getting huge now. Good for you. I remember when you were in the 80s.
Gains
Is
in
your shoulder
2018.
okay from holding the camera? Yes. It's better. Okay, good. We don't want you to go on workman's comp from the camera. All right, good. Well, thank you. I was just saying.
We appreciate
He said
it.
he saw that somebody that was like exceptionally like skinny, and I was like compare her to like Claudia, who's the smallest person I know, and he said like 10 times smaller.
Like, her arm, like, when you just did that, like, your arm looks like PJ's arm compared to her. Seriously. Like, her arm, I'm not kidding, like, this part right here was maybe this big around. Like, because I even, like, looked at Tara, looked at her, and I was like, are we both seeing the same thing? Because I feel like there's no way you could be alive at this weight. Like,
By the way, while she's in here, while we're on the subject of all this stuff, this is hilarious. When I was doing the live yesterday and I was going through asking the question, Steve from Natural Body was on.
oh,
And when I got to Claudia, he goes, wow, that girl has beautiful eyes.
yeah.
And I was
That's
like, she
hilarious.
has a boyfriend, Steve.
And if you go back to it, Dave in the background was like, hey, buddy, back off. So great.
All right, well, you take those pretty eyes and those little
Big old
biceps.
guns.
Thank you, Claudia. All right, so enough small talk. Let's switch gears for a minute.
Switching the gears.
So I wanted to bring stuff down here for a while, and I'm going to do like a cliff notes of very cliff notes because I've known stuff for a long time. Actually,
4 years.
yeah, 4 years. I'm trying to think of like where do I want to start this journey because I don't really remember the beginning anymore. How did we start working together?
It started. I actually bought a pair of Celestial Bodies leggings, and
That's right.
I had been looking at the time Prime Nutrition because one of my fellow friends, Callie, was with Prime, and so I was looking at what you guys were doing with her, and I was like, man, they seem like they really got their their stuff together, and then I bought these leggings, and I think you reached out to me and offered me like another pair or something if I posted about them or something. And then from there, it became, you brought me on for leggings and Prime.
Yes.
And then that was like late 2014.
Damn, time flies. So now I remember it now. Thank you for jogging my memory. So what I wanted to do with Celestial Bodies and Prime was market them to the exact same audience. So in the very beginning of Celestial Bodies, it was difficult because her vision was to market to her people. And it was very hard for her in the beginning because her people are mostly guys. And so wrestling fans are like guys that live in their parents' basement and like little kids, you know, and they're not buying women's apparel.
Right.
And so it was really hard for her in the beginning, and like she wouldn't come home like crying, like the company's not doing good. And I was like, it's gonna do good. Trust me. Like you know, you've got influence on people, but you've got to influence the right people. And I want to like integrate you into the fitness world where it's gonna do well. Like people are gonna like the fact that you're a wrestler and that you're muscular and that you train hard, and our people are going to be the ones that are buying this. So we started wanting to get the pants on, you know, IFBB figure pros, IFBB, you know, bikini pros, and, you know, influential people in the fitness industry. So when you posted, I was like, I like this girl. She's a good competitor. We should bring her in. And that was how it started in the beginning with wanting to bring girls into Celestial Bodies. That's why, you know, we got Courtney King. That's why we got Ashley Caldwasser. Like we were trying to like really dominate this industry and have all these girls in the pants and then have all the supplements, you know, flow around that. So while that was all going on, how did I start coaching you? I don't even like remember how it started.
I was getting ready for the Arnold 2015. So it was my first Arnold, and I was bouncing off feedback, I guess, your like progress, like how you're doing, and you'd start giving me like your input and kind of like up to the minute, you know, feedback and stuff like that. And that's kind of like how we started working with that. And you helped me kind of navigate maybe some poor advice I was getting elsewhere and kind of, you know, make better choices with carbs and things leading up to the show. So ended up with a 5th place finish that year.
Yeah, that was a very, very good look for you. And after that,
I don't think I would have had. I mean, I needed even more carbs than I had that show. So had I not had you like telling me eat more cream of rice or whatever it was at the time, who knows if I would have even cracked the top 5.
Well, I think that Stephanie falls into what's actually a pretty common category with elite competitors of wanting to do more cardio, train more, and wanting to consume less to get the desired look. And I used to do that to myself too. Like, okay, I look really good now. I wonder if I starve a little bit more, do a little bit more cardio, can I look that much better? And oftentimes you sabotage yourself when you're doing that. And with somebody like her who trains a lot, I was going to say too much, but trains a ridiculous amount and burns a lot of calories, like you have to feed that machine really well. And I could see that with her in her fast. So I think that because I was able to get confidence out of her that way, that she trusted me faster, and we had a nice run of shows where she works really well with me. And I've said this numerous times about other people that are going to work with me. You know, I am working with Steph Sakara now, the ab chick, who's an athlete of ours for a long time, same kind of scenario. Coach K, you know, another one, the same type of scenario. These girls all already know exactly what to do. They just need somebody whose eyes they trust to make sure they're doing it perfectly. So with each of these different individuals, I oversee everything, but I help them make the right decisions for themselves. I don't say, I'm going to give you a plan and you're going to follow it and then we're going to go from there. We work together. So with Stephanie, now at this point, you know, later on, I knew that I knew how to get the most out of her body. And so we had a period of time where, a long period of time actually, where Steph wasn't competing anymore. How long was it since you did your last show?
Well, right now it's been about, May was a year, so it's like a year and a half.
Yeah, so we'll say 18 months since she's been on stage. And, you know, she's always been very loyal to me, to the company, no matter what. I mean, you know, 4 years is a long time. We've got a couple people that have been around that long, like Cody Montgomery, and then we've had plenty of people that people always ask me, like, what's the difference between the athletes that are like Stephanie that have been there for years versus like somebody that's in and out in a year. And I say it's actually the same thing for both sides. It's actually the people that are gone fast are always people that don't want to work, and the people that are here for a long time are people that actually do the work. So if you do the work here, we're going to be loyal to you, and it's going to be a good relationship no matter what. If you don't, we've been around long enough where we, this is going to sound dicky, but we don't need you. So when we bring somebody onto the team, it's because we want you on our team, not because we need you. And there's people that think that they're bigger than that, and they want to do nothing and just get shit handed to them, and it doesn't work. Stephanie has never been like that. And because I appreciate that, I reached out to her. How long ago was it? It was like 2 months ago?
Yeah, it was probably like October. Seems like October.
So we'll just say it was a couple months ago. I reached out to her, and we had been, we had a long period of time where we really weren't like just talking that much anymore. And, like we always wish each other the best, but she had stuff going on, I had stuff going on, and I spent a lot of time coaching Nika Lazutina last year, and it was a similar situation where maybe she wasn't getting the best advice, or I took over her prep and I kind of started molding her into being the best that she could be. And then my goal with her, I told her from the start, was I'm going to get you in the top 5, and once I get you in the top 5, you're never going to be out of the top 5 ever again, and we're going to build up points for the Olympia. And that's actually what we did. And we had, I think, 5 straight top 5 finishes, as which we finished out the year. Started a little too late to get enough points for the Olympia, but she decided that she wanted to switch coaches. And I said, if you switch coaches, I'm a very blunt guy. I said, if you switch coaches, for starters, I'm shocked. I said, but if you switch coaches, that's it. And she didn't really understand that, so I decided that I was going to release her from Blackstone Labs. I still wish her the best, but what I did with her, I thought I would never do ever again. And I know the IFBB recognizes what I do because, they asked me to speak on stage at events. They let me go backstage at all these events. The other competitors know who I am. They reach out to me and say it's cool what you do to your competitors, but it's very draining, right? So when I'm with a competitor, I typically go to their shows. Like I get really involved. So when I found out that Stephanie was competing again, I realized that of all the people out there over the years that I've had a lot of success with, they've, for the most part, ended in really, really like good stories. Like Karina Nascimento, her dream was to be top 5 at the Olympia and the Arnold, and we were able to do that, and she retired. And Coach K, people were like, you're never going to make it at all. And even I was like, you're definitely not going to make it. Just don't do nationals. You're not going to get your pro card. And she didn't want to give up, so I coached her. She got a pro card. So we cried. It was a good moment. And then Steph and I had a lot of good moments together, but I always felt like there was a lot of unfinished business. So I reached out and I was like, listen, I have a void basically, and where I'm going to be coaching, and I only want to do this with you. So I'm not putting you on the spot. You don't have to do it with me. If this is a lot for you to take in, you can take some time, mull it over. But I would like to finish what we started and get you on the Olympia stage, and that might take being on stage all year long, like getting you back to being where everybody thought you were and better than you were before. But if you're up for it, Blackstone Labs will support it, and we'll put you on as many stages as we need to get you to be a top Olympia competitor. And I believe that we can do it. And obviously you did it. You want to do it because you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, no, it was easy because, you talk about the loyalty. I've always been loyal to you because you've always been loyal to me as well. And, I think that's why when you have like minds like that, it works the best. And I can trust the advice you're going to give me. I've seen it work firsthand, before. You've been there, I guess when we backtrack to like that Arnold and like that whole 2015 year when kind of, I guess you're referencing like getting me back to that condition. That was like the best year I think I had. And it was also some ups and downs there. I got really sick there for a while, and you were always loyal to me. You never gave up on me, I guess. And so it was kind of one of those where this relationship, as you said, I think you mentioned the unfinished business, kind of stemmed from back then when I had gotten really sick and doing the Tampa Pro thing when there was like some controversy, I guess, or I don't know, you were coaching another you were coaching another competitor, and it wasn't I bet you basically this competitor beat me. So it was like, wow, you know, he's really good at what he does, like, you know, his own athlete. And I guess it was like one of those where if you had been coaching me more, like, I guess at that point it wasn't such a one-on-one. I was having other advice at the time, where that's the unfinished business, like, where I look at that and I think, well, had you been coaching me too, you know, like, where would I have been able to get all these years?
I mean, it's in the past now, but if I was coaching you, you would have won that show.
That's what I mean.
And
you know,
the
like
competitor that I put in that show, I made her the best that she ever was that day, and you were not your best, and that's why she won, because on paper, putting her in my head, I was like, she won't beat Steph, and she did, because she was her best ever that day, and you won.
And I was sick. I mean, I was on stage.
So, you know.
Antibiotics and really sick. But I think I always look at that, and I think, you know, we've talked about it ourselves, where it's like, now without all of that stuff in the way and other things with both of us in our lives going on, kind of like unencumbered now, we can really see what can be done.
Well, to me, I think I always had like a very like soft spot in my heart for this girl, because much like me, she is a person that has a really, really, really big heart that has just a lot of unfortunate things go her way. And I get that. Yeah. And so there's a lot of people that will like look at me a certain way over things, and I'm like, let me tell you something. If you were going through what I was going through, like, you probably wouldn't even be in the gym, you know? And so I get that, and I get her as a person. It makes me want to work with her, because I know, like, the things that I've been through too, that there's times where I'm like, God damn, why is this happening to me now? You know? But all you can really do is try to keep on fighting and moving forward, and that's something that you're very good at. So now we are fighting and moving into 2019, where I expect a really, really good year. So those of you who are listening to this and haven't even looked at the YouTube video that will be out, I mean, you can see her sitting next to me pretty shredded right now. We haven't even picked out a show yet. Now, I want to pick out a show early in the year. And obviously the idea is to put her on stage and win, but nobody's seen her in a while. Now, the judges are going to know who she is, because she's like an OG as far as like competitors go. I mean, what year did you start competing professionally at?
I turned pro in 2013.
Yeah, so we're in
I started in 2010. It took me 3 years, and I think that's important. I always like to talk about that, because a lot of these girls don't understand that it doesn't happen overnight. It's very rare. You did a lot of
shows before you turned pro.
I turned pro on my 23rd show. It was my ninth national show. It took 3 years. They kind of say that whole like thing where if you either earn your dues in the NPC or you earn your dues in the IFBB. Yeah. So I put my time in, and then I turned pro, and I went pretty fast. And I went right into my pro debut. I got third there at the Tampa Pro in 2013. And then from there, so it's been 5 years competing professionally.
But you
2 Olympias, 3 Arnold.
For how many times? Here's a way to put it into perspective. How many times have you done pro shows and actually placed inside the top 5?
Oh, well, I mean, a lot.
And how many times did you do national shows and not place in the top 5?
Well, I did 9 total shows there, 9 nationals, so a lot. I think I got junior nationals right before I turned pro. I got second, and then I got first. So I turned pro. So every show except the last 2, I didn't place.
So she did 23 shows to get there, and then got there and just did good, solid good, like for a while. So that shows you, you know, that she was ready to be in the pro level, and I feel, you know, I don't think this should be taken as like mean, but I wouldn't want to invest all the time if I didn't know that she could be really good again. So that's part of it too. You know, if like she was like too far gone, I'd be like, you know, this is just not it for you. You know, I think it's very important as a coach to always be honest with your clients and competitors like that too. So I think it's going to be very exciting. She has a Olympia, you know, not just an Olympia caliber physique, but she has a top 5 Olympia caliber physique, and that's a very important goal for me. You know, she belongs in the group with Angelica and Ashley and the other top girls. And for a while, you were right in that mix. It's just the time to just wake everybody up to see where you're at now. And I think that it's going to be fun.
Thank you.
Last time I had stuff down here was a year ago. So this weekend, we're going to get a bunch of content because we don't know when we're going to see each other again. But we speak just about almost every day on prep stuff. And I know that you have a lot of fans because when I talk about you, it seems like the actual competitors. So there's two groups of reps for a company, right? So you've got the competitor group and the everybody else group. And you're unique in the sense that, you fall into the group where, like, of course, like, guys think that you're pretty and want to look at you for that reason. But in the competitor side, more importantly, you are extremely popular with the women that compete. And they're, like, specifically do more stuff with Stephanie, So that's extremely important to me. And I want to give them basically what they're asking for. They're like, give us what we want to see. They want to see your ab shit, which, I'm sure you probably do crazy ab shit. I try to teach everybody all the time.
I don't actually do abs.
That abs is your dieting. But they're like, show us her ab workout.
I don't actually do abs that much.
I'm glad because they wanted me to do abs with Jen and Gary, and Jen was like, I don't do abs. So I'm like, we'll just make something up. And, that's another thing. That's a true testament to how important dieting is, guys, for you to understand this the right way. Now, a lot of people ask about the booty bands, so we're going to do stuff like that. I'm going to show them. We'll let you show them how.
You're not going to use the booty bands?
I mean, I can. I
think
we can.
Yeah.
Well, I'll probably hurt myself. That's how unfortunate I am lately. But I want to do two things. One, I want you to show everybody, because we haven't done it in a while, how crazy you train. And
I don't train quite the same.
That's good. They need to see it because I'm interested in seeing what you do now too, how much it is.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
Last time I watched her train, it was all I kept telling to the people that were asking me about it was, yes, this is too much. Because
I killed the battery on the camera.
Yes, Trevor's battery.
Yeah.
She did pretty much every single leg exercise that there is to do.
I was big on volume. I was big on volume.
How long did that take?
Hours.
Like an hour and a half, 2 hours. 2 hours. That's how I used to train legs. I mean,
I left an 8 and came back and she was still.
Obviously, it works for you.
It was conditioning, more or less. I mean, it was a different style.
Well, she has to do, so today she has to do, like her glute stuff. So I'm going to let her do that. And then tomorrow she has back and shoulder scheduled, and I'm going to train her the way that she's supposed to train for that. And that'll be two very different perspectives of training. But all the girls want to see, even Marissa was like, can you have her bring the booty band thing? And I want to learn about that. So I didn't even know that she was even paying attention to you. So that just shows you how many different people.
We've been like DMing and stuff too.
Yeah. So it's like, this is good. So we're giving the people what they want. So that's specifically...
Give them what they want.
That's specifically why I wanted to get you for 24 hours and get as much content as they could to give all these people what they want.
Because that's what we do here at Blackstone Labs. We give the people what they want.
Do you think that we have any questions that she would be interested in answering with us at all? They're typically steroid-based questions, so we'll see.
I can tell you right now, the first one is interesting.
Okay.
I don't think so. Nope. Nope.
All right. Well, let's see what they are anyway. Maybe I'll answer in a way that piques your attention. So most of our questions are about the supplements and about steroids. And so if you've never listened to my show before, which I assume you haven't because you're busy, we do encourage... We do encourage people to ask other questions, and we love when people ask questions about relationships or, sex or movies or pop culture. But most of them are the boring fucking how many IUs of HCG should I take, excuse my language, type of questions. Are there any like that right now?
There is one about steroids.
But you guys can't get enough of those, PCT protocols, so we'll keep on answering them because somebody's got to answer these questions.
And one about something else. All right, so start them up.
Yep.
First one. Would it be okay if I took glycolog only when I eat a carb meal, but not every day?
Yes. By the way, just so you guys know, I can't say this enough. But 90% of you are doing glycolog wrong. It's so irritating. You're supposed to take it, just so you guys know, I'm not saying this so you buy more. I actually take it with every carb meal.
He does.
I don't go anywhere without it. It's like a big deal. And if I actually eat now at this point, because I've been using it for so long, without glycolog, when I eat carbs without glycolog, I actually don't even process my foods the right way. And I feel far less efficient. So all of you people that are saving it for cheat meals and stuff, you're not doing it right.
It does work that way.
It does, but
that's not what it's designed for. It is a good point to use in the marketing of the product because it does work for that use, but it is not the sole reason it was designed.
Yeah, and it's funny because I still have like athletes on our team that are like, I'm getting into my off season so I can start having glycolog now. I'm like, no, you should have been using glycolog
the entire time.
I have competitors. This is my favorite thing. They come up to me now. I had a bunch at nationals that I have no idea who they are, and they come up to me and they're like, hey man, just want to let you know, glycolog's fucking insane. I used it. Different coaches. I have to shout out some of these coaches whose names I'm all forgetting right now. That are like, yeah, my coach actually had me buy glycolog and I used it, all through my prep, my carb op. It's freaking amazing. So, and I always appreciate them. And I'm like, tell your coach I said thank you too.
Well, people, I think really people, cool. I put on all my clients' plans too. I have them take it about twice a day, and I take it every carb meal.
It doesn't make any sense not to.
People don't understand. I mean, they forget that. Okay, you're taking your cheat meal. Yeah, you need those nutrients to go to your muscles, but you need all your food every day to go to your muscles. It's not only your cheat meals. So I take it actually pre-workout too. Usually, I mean, if I'm having carbs that day, but I do it. I've always, even before we started, this carb cycle diet that I've been doing, I would always do it pre-workout with my carb, and then afterwards too, keep the pump, keep everything going into the muscles pre and post workout.
Have you ever done it where you didn't eat enough carbs and your blood sugar crashed? That shows you how strong it is, though.
Have you ever gotten 2 doses in before your workout?
Morning, yeah.
Like wake up in the morning, eat your oats with your glycolog, and then have like your pre-workout meal with your glycolog. Yeah. I think that's the most effective way.
Yes.
Honestly.
I'll tell you what I've done, which a lot of the fat people out there are going to laugh at, but sometimes when I'm going really hard eating, like if I'm eating a lot of bad shit and I'm eating like a bunch of carbs for like the evening, for instance, I will just take like multiple doses of glycolog. Like I'll take 2 or 3 doses over a period of like 90 minutes just to keep making sure that
it's still shuttling.
I'm shuttling what I can, because you get like that night where like maybe you have like lasagna, like
and ice cream and a pie.
Like, oh, I'm gonna eat like ice cream now. Like we all have those nights sometimes.
And you have a cookie.
It's good to have that.
You use that for those occasions. I'm telling you right now, you actually will process it all a lot better. So the people that are cheating, they're using it for that reason, but that is truly not why you were supposed to use it.
I guess I just don't understand the thought process behind it, because like almost anything that like glycolog is the kind of product where it does sound too good to be true, but it's not. It works very well.
Recomp's the same way.
Recomp's the same way. So when you take something that is too good to be true, why wouldn't you just start applying that in as many places as you could without having negative side effects? So for everybody that's waiting for their cheat meal, their fatty intake to have this glycolog, why would you not apply the same principle to your clean chicken and rice meal? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm going to blow all your brains right now. If you guys had been doing that all along, you'd be so much more efficient and be able to use so many more carbohydrates in your intake daily that you'd be able to have more cheat meals to use more glycolog. So you just screw yourself all the time.
You're increasing your insulin sensitivity.
Right. All right. Next one says, hey, PJ, I love your podcast and all of your products. Recently, I discovered the Old Iron Empire podcast. A few years ago, when I was 17, I lost my best friend, who was also 17, to drinking and driving. We were closer than brothers. Listening to the Iron Empire podcast, it is so evident the love and bond between you and Aaron shared, and I can't help but think about mine and my best friend's relationship listening to you two. I'm not really sure what happened with you two as far as Blackstone and Redcon thing, but my question is, do you ever miss your relationship with Aaron? And do you ever think that you could forgive him? Thanks for answering my question, and P.S., you're a legend.
Well, for starters, thank you. Do I miss the relationship that I had with him? Yes, but that person is gone. He is not that person anymore. And it's sad, because we had a very good thing going. But for what he did to the good thing that we had, I will never forgive. No. So, sadly, he and I have become mortal enemies, and that'll probably never end, which is a shame. But do I miss those good times? Yeah, we had some really funny good times. It was a good part of my life. And when I started Blackstone Labs, I told him I had this idea, and I think that I have to be careful about some of the things that I say. But I told him that I think this could be really big, and
yeah, we could just play it smart. You do miss him. You do miss the relationship, and
there's lawsuits going on.
He will not be forgiven. There's lawsuits going on. We've gone over this a bunch of times. Never, no. All right. I recently read some clinical research done on the active ingredient in Halo Elite. It stated that it actually helps the uptake of other steroids and opens the receptors. Have you heard anything about this? It sounds promising.
Yes, we've already kind of gone over that. Perhaps you're just not. I always kind of bro science things down to you guys so you can understand it better. But what I said was that it works with the androgen receptor so that your androgen receptor can actually handle more androgenic ability or androgenic properties. So when your androgen receptors can hold more, I one episode I think I said it was like a cup. Like you can fill this much into your cup, but if you had a really, really big cup, you could get all that extra in. That's the whole Halo Elite effect. You're going to have the ability to maximize the androgenic effect. So whatever your body, whatever your body's, androgenic ability is, you're going to maximize it with this product. That's why it's so good for everybody, because everybody's going to hit their maximum genetic potential with it, whether you're male or female.
Like you said before, imagine if you have a cup and then you have a gallon of water and you fill that cup up with the gallon of water until it gets to the top. You can use that much until it gets to the top, and then once it gets to the top, it spills over. Imagine if you put that cup in a larger bowl, then when that cup spilled over, it would then fill the bowl. That bowl is Halo Elite.
And now think about it. If I told you, you got to put this fire out over here, you're going to put it out with this water in this pool, and you're taking the water out of the pool and you're putting it into an 8-ounce cup versus a bucket, you're still going to put the fire out the same way, but one of them's going to do it a lot more efficiently. So the Halo Elite makes whatever you're doing that much more efficient.
Right.
That's why I think a lot of people don't want to mess with plant-based products, because they're like, oh, it's plant-based, it's probably
inefficient,
weak, it's not going to be good. But that's why you guys need to read all the new literature that they're finding on these different products now, how potent some of these plant-based products are, I mean, it's the same thing with like when people don't want to eat food because it's vegan. They're like, it's vegan, it can't possibly be good. But Cinnaholic proved all you guys wrong on that one. And now, products like Anagenin, which is the laxagenin plant, and now Halo Elite, these are proving that you can actually get powerful muscle building and strength building effects out of plants.
And if you don't think it's true, take 6 Halo Elite before you go into the gym and tell me you don't feel something.
I take 3.
Yeah, I take 6, and I can tell you right now.
I went in and trained shoulders. I think I did legs the first day, and massive pump. And then I tried it again on upper body day, and it was the first time I'm like, oh, I'm getting lean again, because it's my veins are coming out. Hot. I'm like, oh god.
Aggressive.
The first time, this is funny. The first time I brought it home, Marissa took it, and she's always anybody that knows, she's always the most smiley, happy person ever. To the point that it's sometimes I'm like, why are you smiling over there? And she's just like, I don't know, I'm just smiling, and she's just always happy, right? So I gave her Halo Elite, and we went to the grocery store, and I said something, and she snipped at me. And then she was like, does this stuff make you angry? And I go, yeah, and you're not going to be allowed to take it anymore if that's how you're going to act after.
It really is so.
Oh yeah. It'll make you testy for sure.
She got mad over something I asked her in the produce department.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never had anything I've taken affect me like that.
Yeah.
But I have.
No, it really does. I have a bunch of girls say to me.
Usually, I've been a little bit more unusually
It'll increase your
aggressive
androgens.
lately. So that's why, is it?
We had a girl that's in the Legion that's
You
like
can
a
blame
school
him.
teacher,
It's him.
and she was like, I was really mean to the kids today.
No, the first time I took it, I don't ever do the recommended dose of anything that we sell. So I immediately, the first time I ever took it, I doubled the dose. And I'm in the gym doing chest, and I'm lifting and got my headphones on, and some dude came over by me, and he was really close to me, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, why the fuck is this guy so fucking close to me? I wish this dude would get the fuck away from me. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, all right, this dude is 3 seconds are gonna go by of him being this close to me, and I'm gonna be like, yo, get the fuck away from me. And I the 3 seconds went by, and I was like, that's it, I'm telling him. And I look up to go tell him yo, bro, why are you so close to me? And this dude's 3 benches away from me. I was like, why the fuck am I so angry?
Yeah, but it does though.
This shit works.
It makes you aggressive, and I've tried over the years. I've from competing to now, I've tried. I would assume every steroid there is out there, right? And then different things people know will make them act a certain way. But universally, every single person that has taken Halo Elite has said that they have noticed it instantly, which I think is amazing. And they notice the aggression in the gym. Like I've noticed that, like, you know, getting away from the funny, like getting mad at people's stuff. I actually noticed that, like, I'm listening to my music and I'm like mad, like I want to lift heavier weight. Like, it gets you in a certain mindset. Does. Which for me, with all the injuries I have, is not good. Like I have to remind myself,
exactly,
like, stick in your zone. You know, like,
I've noticed with the Halo Elite, like you take Halo, you go into the gym, you miss a rep range that you were looking for. Like you are probably going to try again, even though you shouldn't. You probably shouldn't.
Well, for ladies, can I chime in for since I don't, like I was saying, I train a little differently now, especially since, you know, the whole like legs, glutes, things like we don't, or me particularly don't want to build my quads. I want to build certain parts of your leg. So I don't do a lot of that kind of work anymore anyway, but when I do take it, I'm very mindful of what I'm training because I'll get really pumped. And so I'll use it though, but I don't go as heavy. So I'm in there and I'm getting the pump, but I'm training, I guess, like maybe some girls would train a little lighter or whatever, and you're still getting the effects.
Right.
It's still noticeable.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's. I think that it's. You know, in the past year, we put out some cool products with Recomp also being another really awesome one. But I think it's an awesome product that literally everyone can benefit from. Everyone.
How do you manage though? Like, what's the advice like you would give people to manage the effects, the aggression?
Stop being such an asshole. No, because like I said, like I was literally getting mad.
You know me. I'm like the little tiny. Like,
you got to just stop and think about yourself, because like I said, I was gonna tell that dude off, and then I looked up and I was like, he's nowhere near me, dude. You are way flying off the handle at yourself. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, no, I've had that happen a number of times in the gym. I yelled at a guy the other day, but he was very deserving. But like, you know,
of course, right?
No, the guy was like, if you want me to explain, I think I might have told you. So Marissa and I were like supersetting, and you know, like sometimes these old guys come over and you just know they're gonna fuck everything up, right? And I knew this guy was gonna do that. So as he was like inspecting the leg extension that we had already done 4 sets on, and we're just wanting to finish, right? I just snuck onto it and started doing my set, and the guy goes, "Excuse me," with his hands on his hips like this, and I go, "Sorry, but I'm already on this, and so is she." And he was like, "I don't see her on it." She was on we were going back and forth. And I'm like, "We're going really fast, and you can work in if you want." And he goes, "Oh, can I?" And he goes, ugh. And the way that he did that made me so angry that I said, maybe if you were more aware of your surroundings, you would notice that she and I have been supersetting this the whole time, and you wouldn't be acting like such a fucking asshole the way you are right now. And Marissa was like, came over, and she was like, "I didn't see what you were saying. I just know that the guy wasn't listening." And I was like, yeah, he didn't want any part of what I was saying to him. But I'm like, he was in the wrong. And so then when she came over and got in the machine, I was like, "See?" to the guy. And he still didn't want to look at me. And I was like so irritated with him. And that's like a little bit of that, you know, that Halo aggression. But the good thing about it is I don't feel that it has to be cycled, because it's such a short window where you see that androgenic surge. So it's not something that you need to worry about like cycling on and off.
Right. Halo's the shit. Yeah.
I love it.
So you recommend that it's something you can take constantly? You don't take breaks ever?
I do it. So the way I do it is I do it pre-workout on every workout day, and on off days I typically don't take it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Now you can take more than 1 dose a day, but the way that I've decided that I want to, you know, utilize this in my life effectively is I myself do 6.
One blast at a time.
Yeah, one blast. Pre-workout.
Better to get as much as you can out of it in
3
one
in the morning, 3 before
punch.
you work out, 3 at night, whatever. But I know guys, the Big King from the Legion, he does 9.
I mean, I've done 9.
I mean, I don't know that you could get that much more. Like,
I definitely think you can.
You do?
100%. I think that, you know, I've taken a single dose, and I've taken a double dose, and I've taken the triple dose, and 100% they're all noticeably different.
Huh.
It's just more.
I suppose if you were specifically training for strength, that the 9 would help you a lot, because you'd be extremely intense and aggressive.
I think it also helps a little bit with endurance.
Really?
A little bit.
Interesting.
I think depending on the way you're training. Like, if you go in and you just lift super heavy from the beginning of your lift, like, it's not going to help you that much with endurance. But if you're doing what you moderately would do normally, I think it does help you go a little longer.
I will have to try that. I mean, that makes sense for EpiCat, like the way that Dragon was saying last week, for sure. And I actually never used EpiCat. I mean, I haven't used it in a couple of years.
It's funny. I don't know if he watches this, probably not, but I have somebody that I actually went to high school with that I did not keep in contact with after high school. That then a couple of months ago he hit me up and was like, "Hey, bro, like I still follow you. Like I see that you're working at a supplement company. Like I would like to get some info on it, whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I told him like I hook him up with some discounts, and he kind of like fell off, didn't really hit me up about it anymore. And then the other day, a couple months ago, I was leaving my apartment complex, and he like pulls up next to me at the red light, and I was like, "Huh, I haven't seen you since high school." And he was like, "We live in the same apartment complex." I was like, "That's weird. I don't know how that happened." And he was like talking to me about supplements, this and that. And then the other day, he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, do you have any of that Halo Elite I can try?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got a bottle. I'll let you have what I have left." And so I gave him like maybe a quarter of a bottle or something the other day, and he hits me up today, and he's like, "Dude, I love this pre-workout. I have so much energy." And I'm like, I don't think it gives you any energy, but I'm glad you like it, bro. And he's like, "Dang," he's like, I feel so good." And I'm like, "Okay."
It's like it's just testosterone makes you feel good. Though.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't notice any energy from it. Like, I don't notice any, like, I'm zinging, like.
That's because me and you are
I
on
think
another
people
level of stimulants.
mix energy and that feel-good feeling.
Maybe, yeah. That just, like, overall feeling of well-being. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, he told me, like, I have a lot of energy, and I was like, "Oh, that's good for you." I don't think it does that, but.
People think of it, and I actually told my dad the other day, so people think of it as, like, a pre-workout pill.
Yeah.
And I told my dad the other day, I said, "Do me a favor and order sample packs of 3 Halo Elites for me."
Yes.
I want to start handing those out as samples because people are going to take them before they work out.
100%.
Some workouts, and then they're going to want to buy more.
Absolutely.
We've never done that before. We've never done
a pre-workout pill,
a tablet, in a sample pack and saying, "Hey, use this before you work out."
It just works so good that's one of those products that, like, you could do that with Glycolog. You know what I'm saying? You could do 3 capsule samples of
Glycolog. The reason that we have not done it with
Glycolog
is because we feel that there is more education required on that one.
Yeah.
Because people, for the most part, judge supplements on what they feel, and that is difficult to deal with products that you're not going to feel anything on. So, like Glycolog, you're not going to feel anything. You will notice the results.
No, I think that's untrue because I noticed the Glycolog the first time I ever took it. If you use it right, you notice the effects the first time you use it.
You'll notice
in the gym
effects.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you'll notice feeling anything.
No, I mean, you're not going to feel anything, but like if you can't tell the difference between taking Glycolog for the first time and the pump you get from it in the gym afterwards versus not, I would compare it to the same thing as taking a nitric oxide booster for the first time.
Possibly. I know that we don't sample pro hormones, for instance, because you're not going to notice that much feel the first day. We don't do
Methaquad.
You could.
Methaquad you could sample.
The reason that we sample Dust and Dust X is because you're going to drink it and get energy and be tingly. Mm-hmm. And you're going to drink it and be like, "Oh, this is working. I'm tingling and I have energy." We sample anesthetize because you're going to drink it and go to sleep. Mm-hmm. Now, if you take growth, you're going to take it and go to sleep, but we don't sample that because we just don't feel something that you're going to really feel. No. So, when it comes to gear support, I can't tell you, sample these pills and tell me if your liver feels good tomorrow.
They're going to be like, "Great. Like that. Feel super healthy."
But Halo Elite is something that we feel very confident that you actually will feel. And that's why it's sample worthy.
We should do sample packs of 3 capsules Halo, 3 capsules Methaquad, and 1 sample pack.
You could do that.
You want to have the most aggressive workout you've ever had in your life? The fuck shit up stack? Because you're going to go in the gym and fuck shit up.
That would be an expensive sample, though. You can do it and sell those.
I bet you if somebody took that combo right there and they'd never taken anything from us before, they would immediately start buying our shit.
Customers for life.
They'd immediately start buying our shit.
How many more questions do we have?
This is the last one.
All right. Let's finish it out strong here. No Mike Peskin questions, huh?
No Moon Cookie, no Mike Peskin.
Wow, our regular's not around.
It's the holidays.
All of December is considered the holidays.
I hear a lot about tricking your body and muscles to help growth. If I change my name, maybe dye my hair, do you think that would confuse the body enough to grow, or do I just have to get a sex change? Sincerely, Mr. OG Fit NY, or maybe soon to be Mrs. OG Fit NY.
Oh, wow. I think that he played the character of Woman very good in his Black Friday post. He did a very good Pulp Fiction. He did very, very good. So if he wants to go the sex change route.
Dude, I've never seen anything like his Black Friday posts in my life. Like, that guy.
He's the ultimate member of the Legion.
He is.
Sorry, Dragon. You just
the shit.
4 dragons in the
I mean, Dragon, you start throwing together some disguises and shit, we can talk, but.
Have you seen OG Fit New York?
No, I gotta
pull up his Instagram.
You buy one, you get one.
He played like famous movie characters all day for Black Friday, and they were all very good. Hold on, let me find this page.
I don't even know how does he have that many costumes?
Yeah, and like,
What do you do for
How
a living
how
that you
does he
have
have,
all
like,
these
the time
costumes
to do
laying
that?
around? Are you a fucking a server like in that one movie where the dude changes his outfit every day to serve the papers to the guys? Get closer to the mic.
he did this all day. Look at all these different
my
characters they did
God.
all day.
What's this thing though? He's getting noticed.
Yeah, it worked
You know?
good too. He caught my attention, but I actually met him up at in New Jersey at the Exotica event for my other company, and he came to the booth with his girlfriend, and he had a Sup Girl shirt on. I'm like, oh shit, and he introduced himself, said he was a member of the Legion, and we took a picture. He bought the women's entice, and they came back the next day, and he goes, bro, he's like, I only gave her half the dose. He's like, it was awesome. I'm buying the men's one today. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then we bullshitted for a little while. And he stuck in my head. And then, we went home for Black Friday. And he stole the show on Black Friday. So he's okay in my heart. What are you doing over there, Colonel?
Christmas present shit.
Christmas present shit. That's good. I'm glad you're focused on the show. We're almost done anyway.
No, I'm just making sure that something doesn't get bought and money gets wasted.
I like his question. It was funny. He wanted
Yeah.
to make us laugh.
I mean, I thoroughly support anybody that asks a question that doesn't have to do with the size of your nuts or a cycle.
Yeah. I'm a little confused at where Moon Cookie is right now.
Probably wondering why we haven't sent those videos over to him yet.
We have sent the videos to him.
Oh, we did?
We sent them like a month ago.
I felt
He's
like
our
I
ultimate
could've-
fan. He's like the
Okay,
biggest fan.
yeah,
ever.
I didn't want to ask because I thought.
I actually spoke to him on the phone finally.
Haradav?
Haradav is his old name. He's been around for a long time. Like all the way back to the beginning with like me and Singer Man.
The man lady?
Man, he has a number of.
None of those ringing a bell for you? Man. Where you been?
Who's the horse thing?
Horsehead physique?
Yeah.
He's awesome too.
He's cool. He
Is that
hasn't
just a
he hasn't
fan?
had as much interaction
Yeah,
with us
he's been around
recently.
for a while. So here's the deal.
I'm partial to Haradav. I think the Moon Cookie change was a bit much. I like Haradav better.
I like Haradav too.
If that's even how you say it.
No, it's Harida Dave.
All right, I like Moon Cookie better.
Yeah, he told me it's Harida Dave.
Okay. I don't know about that.
Anyway, so we're gonna stop finally. So it's 4:15.
Holy shit, it is 4:15.
The crazy thing about this, well, at least it's Friday, right? Thank God it's Friday. The crazy thing about this is that at this point in my head yesterday, I thought we'd be like in the home stretch of the day's events, but instead we're in the very beginning stage.
We're just taking off the finish line. Like that gun bang just went off.
But I got stuck with a kid that slept very late and then couldn't help me start the car. Not his
True.
fault. He drove across the country. He gets a pass in this one. And her tire.
Yes, I have to say something about this headquarters causes car trouble.
You have
going
no
both
idea.
ways.
Yeah.
You have no
The
idea.
last time I was here, going home,
You have no idea.
I had car trouble. I forget what happened, but I ended up having to get towed all the way back, like 200 miles.
This parking lot made Celeste's wheels shoot off of her car. Remember that?
No.
In the Jeep.
I wasn't around
Oh,
for
you
the
weren't around? That shit was nuts. She wouldn't drive it anymore after that. It's a stupid expensive Jeep that I freaking lost my ass on. So
I love
there's
losing
some
my ass.
crazy karma around here.
Yeah, something about coming down this way. So
Well,
yeah,
good
time-
news.
thank God.
We're actually
Yeah.
moving. So
Where?
Yeah.
Is that secret right now?
sort of.
Top secret.
Yeah.
Is it?
Not really. I mean,
Did you decide on a place?
I want to go to the place where I want to go.
The one that I went to?
Sometimes you want to go.
The one that we all went to that day?
Yeah, so the smaller version of that one, my dad went and saw it and said it's better.
Oh.
But it's not open until April,
Oh.
which means there'll be a couple weird months.
Are we talking about different cities or different?
Now we're talking about the
Buildings.
next driveway, basically, again.
Okay.
Freaking again.
What are we going to do from now until April?
Squeeze into my dad's side.
True. Or are we going to be doing that at home fucking from Dave's house type thing?
I don't know who will have to do that and who won't.
I'll like volunteer for that. It sounds cool.
It should be cool. There'll be, some people will have to work from home, and the other people will work from the other side of the building. And then in April, this will be a short amount of time because we're here till January 31st. So it's literally just
3 months.
February and March, then you're in.
Okay, yeah, so 2 months. Oh, not bad. Yeah, I could.
It's worth it because that place is awesome.
I could deal with looking at Dave in his underwear for 2 months. I guess
the place is. I love this place. There's a lot of history here, a lot of good memories here. But if we are going into that new place, it's a lot better than here. The office part of it is really, really nice, and it's big enough where everybody would have their own offices.
As long as it has the basketball hoop, that's all I care about.
Eric, are you excited to have what would be considered a nice office since you've kind of just been in like the front door all this time, or does it not matter to you?
As long as there's AC, that room gets hot.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Well, I think all the rooms in that place are gonna have good AC.
Eric likes having the door because then he can make a quick exit if he ever needs to.
Yeah. Next time the FDA comes.
Or
Alright.
just unwanted visitors.
All right, well, Steph, sorry that it's taken this long to get to your workout.
No, thank you for having me.
What time do you normally work out at?
I've been working out later in the night, like 7, 8. My son, I'm a mom raising a teenager who has his own workouts now.
Tell everybody how old your son is.
Oh, he is 16. He just turned 16 on Black Friday.
Crazy.
That doesn't even seem possible.
Boxing,
know,
but
right?
let me tell you this: he has before his boxing, he has a 3-way shake every time.
Really?
Yeah,
I like
I've
that.
been giving it to him since he for years, but now
She's like, I used to have it in his bottle,
now that
but
he's getting into like the boxing. He tells me the other day, make him a nutrition plan, and the other day he gets in the car after boxing. He's like, Mom, how do I get abs? I want to get cut.
How much does he weigh?
I don't know.
Is he lean?
Yeah, he's cleaned up
Yeah?
now. Yeah, I mean, he's boxing jiu-jitsu, so
He should
he's
use
developing like.
he
like
should use Formula 19 if
shoulders.
he's doing boxing and stuff like that. Formula 19 is great
in between, like
for wrestlers, guys that are doing like long bouts of shit. Like all the guys that I know that cycle for long periods of time use Formula 19.
I was gonna say the guy that rode his bicycle cross country to come here did that.
This dude rode his bike across the entire
Not a motorcycle.
country and wanted
bicycle.
to end his journey here.
A fucking 10-speed.
For the Guinness Book of World Records, we have it all on video. We're not making
at
this up.
Blackstone Labs, he wanted to.
This kid read an article about breaking the Guinness Book of World Records for pedal-assisted bikes, which is a bike that like you can go farther distances because it has like a little bit of like a.
You basically, it's hooked up to a motor, and as you pedal, the motor will help you keep momentum.
Okay.
So it's not like you can just start it up and start moving without pedaling. You
It's
have
a
to
big,
pedal it.
heavy-duty bicycle, right? So the record is like, let's just say for the math purposes that the record is like 10,000 miles, right? Like you have to go to here and then back. Well, he wanted to break the record by cycling around the United States, but he wanted his end stop where he broke the record to be here at Blackstone Labs. And he did the entire thing on our BCAs and Formula 19.
That's super
He had a camelback full of it and
That's
just drank it on his
great.
back the entire ride.
Yeah.
Rode his bicycle.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was
Like-
a crazy story. I was like, this is the weirdest but most hilariously awesome thing that anyone has told me about our product.
Show up sunburned and tired as
His bike
shit
was
to
all
a barbecue.
broken. He got like run over one
He was
day.
like duct taping
Cast
it
on his
together.
arm. Yeah, it was the craziest story.
Repairing his tire and shit.
And it's funny because he said he ran out of Formula 19 like a week before he got here, and he's like, this last week has been so much harder. I'm like, you're the ultimate poster boy for this now.
That's cool.
Dude, I can't imagine being middle of however many mile trek and having a flat tire. I'd be like, give
After
me a
all
flight
that-
home.
After all that shit.
Fly me home. This is bullshit.
He was such an awesome dude that all his friends that followed along with the journey and saw him here in the videos and everything, they all joined the Legion after that.
Mhm.
So it was a good story. All right. Well, anyway, we've done a lot of stories today. How long was this one, Eric?
2 hours.
Wow.
2 hours.
Another one.
And you know what? We're going to end it like we always do with a peace out bye.